So, good evening, everybody. See, today we are going to discuss how to prepare for state services preliminary examination, which will conducted in the first Sunday of 2022. And almost we are getting, you can say, almost 80-90 days. And within that much period, suppose I want to qualify for the mains examination. So, what should be my strategy? Now, before that, I just want to bring to everybody's notice, this ad has been published, and in the ad they have mentioned, so there will be the almost 290 posts, 290 जागा असतील. And if you see the deputy collector posts are 12, and there are 16 DYSP. And then another class 1 posts are also there, but we should concentrate only on these two posts because those who will be say round about 16 and 12, that becomes 28. And if you see in the open category, so the number of the post in the open category for the deputy collector and then this thing, all the posts of a deputy collector are from the reservation category, and that too mainly they are reserved to what you can call as a OBC 5 are there. And then one is for the ST, one is for the DTA or the NTC. And then likewise for the women and other things from you can get, so 12 are for the reservation. But in DYSP, 6 posts are the open category. Now, so what that indicates, so if at all I want to become a DYSP, so deputy collector from the open category is not there, and might be after our prelim is over, so just before the ad of mains examination, they might add. So that is what they have written. But at present, we have to keep in the mind, so there are 6 DYSP posts, and there are another 5 ACST, Assistant Commissioner State Tax. So that becomes first 10 posts which have been, or rather you can say the 11 posts will be available for everybody from the open general category. थोडक्यात त्याचा अर्थ काय की 2022च्या ह्या परीक्षेमध्ये मी जर समजा महाराष्ट्रात पहिल्या 11 मध्ये आलो ओपन मध्ये, तर मला ह्या दोन्हीपैकी कुठली तरी पद मिळणार, आणि पहिल्या 6 मध्ये आलो तर मला DYSP, आणि समजा जर मी आता एक 21, 22 किंवा 23 वर्षाचा असेल तर मला एक 15 वर्षात ते IPS चं प्रमोशन मिळतं. And so by the time I turn 35, I'll be IPS officer, and remaining 25 years, I'll be working as a IPS officer Maharashtra cadre. And I can reach up to the level of additional DGP, and might be if I do some good performance, I can reach up to the level of the highest post of the DGP. And so that is why we should consider this is one of the best opportunity in 2022. Another important thing what we have to keep in the mind, so there are so many other posts also. And this is the ad of 2021, and then they are going to publish ad for the 2022. So if I prepare very nicely for this exam, this will help in 2022 for 2 exams. So this another 2022 ad will come, and then see that civil services preliminary examination of the UPSC. So with the preparation of the 80-90 days, if I'm able to score good, or I'm getting qualified for the main examination, so then it is possible I might get this particular post. And मग ती मेनची तयारी करून कसं यायचं ते थोडक्यात आपण जरा याच्यात बघूया. तर ह्या 290 जागा ज्या आहेत त्या एकूण ज्याला आपण म्हणतो की 17 कॅडरमध्ये त्यांनी दिलेल्या आहेत. तर कॅडर हे 17 आहेत, आणि त्याच्यामध्ये क्लास 1 ची म्हणजे त्याच्यात जर बघितलं तुम्ही ज्याला गव्हर्नमेंट लेबर ऑफिसरच्या 54 जागा आहेत. त्याच्यानंतर जर तुम्ही बघायला गेला स्किल डेव्हलपमेंटच्या सुद्धा 16 जागा आहेत, आणि तशा जागांची संख्या काही कमी नाही आहे. सो ऑलमोस्ट 300 आहेत, आणि त्याच्यामुळे काय होणार आहे, या 300 जागांच्या साठी पूर्व परीक्षेमध्ये उत्तीर्ण जवळजवळ 300 गुणिले 17 ते 18 करतात ते, आणि त्याच्यामुळे किमान साधारण 4500 ते 5000 विद्यार्थी असतील. सो व्हॉट वाय शुड बी माय स्ट्रॅटेजी, तर 5000 विद्यार्थ्यांच्या मध्ये माझा नंबर लागला पाहिजे, आणि ओपन मध्ये जर मी असेल तर ते 2500 जणांना निवडणार, आणि त्या 2500 मध्ये मला यायला पाहिजे. आणि बसणाऱ्या विद्यार्थ्यांची संख्या डेप्युटी कलेक्टर, DYSP किंवा ACSTच्या जागा असल्यामुळं ही संख्या गेल्या वर्षीपेक्षा जास्त असणार आहे. म्हणजे आता जी मार्च 2021 ला 23 मार्च 2021 ला सुद्धा शेवटची आपली 2020 ची राज्यसेवा झाली, आता 21ची ती 2 जानेवारीला होते, 22ची परत त्याच वर्षी म्हणजे पुढच्याच वर्षी होणार आहे ती. आणि माइट बी इन द मंथ ऑफ से राउंड अबाउट जून जुलै समथिंग लाईक दॅट दे विल बी कंडक्टिंग दॅट नेक्स्ट एक्झामिनेशन ऑफ 2022 द प्रिलिम्स. आणि त्यामुळं हे आपलं स्ट्रॅटेजी असताना काय, तर तुमच्यापैकी सगळ्यांना माहित आहे की स्ट्रॅटेजीमध्ये आपल्याला हे पेपर 1 आणि पेपर 2 पैकी हे 400 गुणापैकी जवळजवळ आता त्या 23 मार्चच्या परीक्षेमध्ये ज्यांना 202.50 मार्क पडले होते त्या सगळ्यांची निवड सध्या मुख्य परीक्षा जी डिसेंबरमध्ये होते त्याच्यासाठी झालेले आहे. आणि मग असे 14 टॉपिक दिलेले आहेत. म्हणजे इथं कट ऑफ मध्ये जर बघितलं तुम्ही 203.50 आहे, म्हणजे 21 मार्च 2021च्या परीक्षेला. आणि त्यांनी आता मुख्य परीक्षेला कारण जागा 200 आहेत ना या वेळेला, म्हणजे 2021च्या 200 जागा, आणि त्यासाठी त्यांनी 3214 उत्तीर्ण केलेलं आहे. म्हणजे याचा साधा अर्थ काय माहित आहे की 3200चे निम्म केलं तर 1700, 1700वा विद्यार्थी किती मार्काचा आहे, 203 मार्काचा. म्हणजे महाराष्ट्रामध्ये 1700 पेक्षा जास्त, म्हणजे 203 पेक्षा मार्क पाडणारी मुलं आहेत किती, 1700. ऍट द मोस्ट यू कॅन कन्सिडर 2000. आणि पुढच्या वर्षी कसं होणार आहे याच्यामध्ये आता सांगितलं 290, 300, कदाचित अजून 100 जागा वाटल्या 400, आणि मग 400 झाल्या तर 6000 जणांना घेणार, त्यातले 3000 ओपनचे असतील, आणि त्यामुळे मेरिट कॅन कम डाऊन टू 200 असं सुद्धा येऊ शकतं. कारण ज्या वेळेला हे इथं तर जागा दाखवल्या तुम्हाला की 400 जागा होत्या 2019 मध्ये, आणि त्यावेळेला 7000 जणांना पूर्व परीक्षेला घेतलं होतं, आणि त्यावेळेला मेरिट ते 197चं गेलं होतं. आणि आताच आपण बघितलं 203चं आहे, आणि आता जर 203चं काय आहे, हे 7040च्या ऐवजी किती जण झाले, हे 3200, म्हणजे निम्मे झाले ना. मग निम्म्याने विद्यार्थी वाढल्यामुळं म्हणजे याचा साधा अर्थ सुद्धा काय, 197 ते 203 फरक आला किती, 6 मार्काचा. मग 6 मार्कामध्ये किती विद्यार्थी आहेत, 3214 आणि 700 म्हणजे 4000. सो फ्रॉम दॅट यू कॅन गेट द आयडिया, देर माइट बी अदर फॅक्टर्स ऑल्सो, पण 4000 विद्यार्थी फक्त 6 मार्कामध्ये. आणि त्यातनं सुद्धा आपल्याला आयडिया येते की जर 4000 विद्यार्थी 6 मार्कामध्ये, रफली यू कॅन से 1,500 विद्यार्थी एका मार्काला असतात. आणि त्याच्यामुळे मला जर समजा पुढच्या वर्षी किती मार्क द्यायचं आहे, म्हणजे त्या 3000 पकडूया आपण, सगळे ओपनची मुलं जे असतील तर 3000 मध्ये यायचं झालं तर माझं टार्गेट हे 210चं असायला पाहिजे. आणि येणाऱ्या 80-90 दिवसामध्ये आपण ते वी कॅन अचीव्ह अप टू द 250 ऑल्सो. आणि मग ते करायसाठी काय काय करायला पाहिजे तर त्याची थोडक्यात आपण चर्चा करूया. आता बाकीचे काही स्लाइड्स जे आहेत ते इतर आपल्या परीक्षांच्या माहितीसाठी आहेत. मग आता नेहमीप्रमाणे आपल्याला माहिती आहे की आपल्याकडे जेवढे दिवस आहेत तर त्याच्यामध्ये मला जर समजा 250चं टार्गेट 400 पैकीचं करायचं झालं तर मला हे क्लासिफिकेटरी मेथड इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. सेकंड, कंपॅरेटिव्ह अप्रोच, स्किल डेव्हलपमेंट, रीड, रिमेंबरिंग, रिप्रोड्युसिंग, आणि एम्फॅसिस ऑन कन्सेप्ट, ऍप्लिकेशन, अपडेशन, क्वांटिटी अँड क्वालिटी ऑफ द स्टडी. नाउ आय विल जस्ट टॉक ऑन द क्वांटिटी ऑफ द स्टडी. आता आपला थंब रूल काय असतो, एका मार्कासाठी 1, आणि 1 तास. माझा 400 मार्काचे आहे म्हणजे 4 तास, 400 तास करा. माझा हे 400 तास नुसते पुरेसे नसणार आहे. तर 80 दिवसामध्ये 400 तास जर धरले तर रोज 5 तासाचा होतो. म्हणजे रोज 5 तास अभ्यास केला तर ते माझं पहिलंच रिडिंग होणार. मला निदान काय आहे की 2 जानेवारीपर्यंत माझे 3 रिडिंग झाले पाहिजे. त्यामुळे हे जे 80 दिवस आहेत, सो आय हॅव टू ज्युडिशियसली डिवाइड इंटू 3 कॅटेगरीज. सो द फर्स्ट रिडिंग, फर्स्ट रिव्हिजन, सेकंड रिव्हिजन, अँड देन एक्झाम. सो द फर्स्ट रिव्हिजन किती दिवसात करू शकतो, तर 40 दिवसामध्ये आपलं ते झालंच पाहिजे, कारण ते 400 मार्क आहेत, म्हणजे रोज 10 मार्काचं. तर रोज मी 10 मार्काचा अभ्यास केला तर ते 40 दिवसामध्ये माझं पहिलं हे होणार. मग ते झाल्यानंतर माझे 40 दिवस उरतात. मग त्या 40 दिवसातले पहिलं रिव्हिजन माझं 20 दिवसात आणि दुसरं रिव्हिजन सुद्धा 20 दिवसात. असं करून मला साधारण एक मुद्दा घेतला तर तो 3 वेळा माझ्या नजरेखालून गेला. अँड अलॉंग विथ दॅट, नुसतं रिडिंग इज नॉट इम्पॉर्टंट. अलॉंग विथ दॅट वी हॅव टू डेव्हलप द स्किल टू फाइंड आउट द आन्सर. आणि हे वाक्य तुमच्यापैकी सगळ्यांना माहिती आहे की एमपीएससीचा हा प्रश्न विचारण्याचा उद्देश काय आहे. सो कॅन्डिडेट्स जनरल अवेअरनेस ऑफ व्हरायटी ऑफ द सब्जेक्ट. मग हे सब्जेक्ट कुठले आहेत, तर आतापर्यंत एमपीएससीने ही परीक्षा 8 वेळा घेतलेली आहे. मग 2013 पासून आता 2021ची 8वी, आणि आता जी 2022ला होणार ती 9वी परीक्षा आहे. तर ह्या 8 परीक्षांमध्ये आलेली प्रश्न, आणि नंतर युपीएससीच्या जवळजवळ या वर्षीची धरून आता होईल परीक्षा पुढच्या रविवारी, ते दोन्ही धरून जवळ 10 युपीएससीच्या परीक्षा, एमपीएससीच्या किती 8, म्हणजे 18 परीक्षांचे पेपर सगळ्या आल्या. असा अभ्यासक्रम तसा सारखाच आहे. आणि त्याच्यानंतर जर तुम्ही बघितलं तर देशातले इतर जे पीएससी आहेत, म्हणजे गुजरात पीएससी असेल, कर्नाटक असेल, युपी पीएससी, तर यांनी सुद्धा ही परीक्षा प्रत्येक वेळेला किमान नाही म्हटलं तर 5 ते 6 वेळा घेतलेल्या आहे. आणि मग त्यांचे पेपर जर आपण मिळवले आणि आहेत आपल्याकडे, आपण ते वी आर प्रोव्हाइडिंग दॅट ओनली इन कमिंग 100, जे काही 100 पॉईंट्स मध्ये आपण तयारी करायची ठरवलेलं आहे, तर त्याच्यात त्या सगळ्यांचा मी समावेश केलेला आहे. आणि मग त्यामुळे इथं काय उमेदवाराला विचारलेलं आहे, आन्सर यू विल बी एबल टू फाइंड आउट विदाउट स्पेशलाइज स्टडी. हा शब्द का वापरलेला आहे, तर अभ्यासक्रमामध्ये सुद्धा पूर्व परीक्षेच्या तुम्ही जर अभ्यासक्रम बघितला, परत त्या स्लाइडकडे जातो आणि त्याच्यामुळे तुमच्या लक्षात येईल की इथे बघा, हा जो अभ्यासक्रम दिलेला आहे त्याच्यात ते आपण 6वा टॉपिक बघा, जनरल इश्यूज ऑन एन्व्हायरमेंटल इकॉलॉजी, बायोडायव्हर्सिटी अँड क्लायमेट चेंज दॅट डू नॉट रिक्वायर सब्जेक्ट स्पेशलायझेशन. त्यामुळं जरी ह्या 6व्या टॉपिकसाठी त्यांनी लिहिलं असलं तरी बाकीच्या सगळ्या टॉपिकला ते लागू पडतं. आणि वरती जर तुम्ही बघितला, स्टँडर्ड काय आहे जनरल स्टडीचं, तर डिग्रीच आहे. आणि जनरल स्टडीचा पेपर 2 जो आहे त्याच्यातला टॉपिक नंबर 5 म्हणजे 1 ते 5 ते डिग्रीचं. पण 6वा आणि 7वा जर टॉपिक बघितला, तर 6वा टॉपिक काय आहे बेसिक न्यूमरसीचा, 7वा काय कॉम्प्रिहेन्शनचा, आणि स्टँडर्ड त्याचं बघा त्यांनी 10वी-12वीचं दिलेलं आहे. त्यामुळं अगदी 10वी-12वी ते डिग्री पर्यंत एखाद्या सर्वसाधारण उमेदवाराला म्हणजे जे काही अधिकारी त्याला व्हायचं असेल, तर त्याच्याकडनं ज्या अपेक्षा असतात ना त्याच्या व्यक्तिमत्वाच्या, त्या तपासण्यासाठीच हे प्रश्न विचारले जातात. त्यामुळे नुसतं IQ नाही, तर इथं इमोशनल क्वेश्चन, थॉट क्वेश्चन आणि सोशल क्वेश्चन बघितला जात असल्यामुळं नुसती माहिती वाचण्याबरोबरच त्या प्रश्नांची उत्तरं दिलेल्या वेळेमध्ये कसं काढायचं, त्याचं कौशल्य आत्मसात करण्यासाठी प्रॅक्टिस इज व्हेरी व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. त्याच्यामुळे जर समजा आपण ठरवलं की 40 दिवसामध्ये मी पहिल्यांदा सगळं फर्स्ट रिडिंग पूर्ण करणार आहे, तर त्याच्या वेळेला आपली स्ट्रॅटेजी असली पाहिजे की त्याच्याच बरोबर रोज 1 ते 2 तास मी पेपर सोडवण्यावरती घालवणार आहे. म्हणजे समजा मी 6 ते 8 तास अभ्यास करायचा ठरवलं, तर उरलेले 2 तास तरी माझे हे पेपर सोडवायवरती गेली पाहिजेत आणि ते सोडवली पाहिजेत. अँड दॅट इज वन ऑफ द व्हेरी व्हेरी मॅन्डेटरी थिंग व्हाईल प्रिपेअरिंग फॉर दिस एक्झामिनेशन. आता त्याच्यातला एक मुद्दा काय आहे की लेटेस्ट अँड रिसेंट डेव्हलपमेंट अँड हॅपनिंग्स, तर त्या 100 मुद्द्याशी संबंधित ह्या गोष्टीकडे सुद्धा आपल्याला भर द्यायला पाहिजे. आणि जसं आता सुरुवातीला जे सांगितलं, तर क्वांटिटी म्हणजे आपल्याला 400 तास आणि नंतर म्हणजे 400 तास जर धरले तर पहिल्या 40 दिवसात तुम्हाला 10 तास करावं लागणार. म्हणजे 40 दिवसात 10 तास होणारच आणि उरलेल्या 40 दिवसामध्ये परत 10 तास धरले तर 400, म्हणजे 800 तासांचं तुमची ते एकंदरीत प्लॅनिंग ही केलंच पाहिजे. आणि 800 आवर्समध्ये एक सिस्टमॅटिकली जर समजा वी डिवोट अँड देन अक्वायर सर्टन स्किल्स टू फाइंड आउट द आन्सर, सो देन इट इज नॉट डिफिकल्ट अट ऑल टू स्कोर 250. आणि 250 लागणार नाहीत. मी सांगितलं त्याच्याप्रमाणे पूर्व परीक्षा पास व्हायला 210 म्हणजे डोक्यावरनं पाणी गेलं. कारण गेल्या वर्षी म्हणजे 2019ला 197 होतं, 2021ला 203 गेलेलं आहे आणि मग आतापर्यंत हायेस्ट गेलं होतं तर ते 250च होतं. पण आता एवढं काही जाणार नाही आणि त्याच्यामुळे आपल्याला लक्षात घ्यायचं की 210 टार्गेट ठेवलं आणि तो बी सेफर ऑन साईड म्हणून आपण 250चं टार्गेट. मग ते 250 मार्क पाडायचे, मग काय करायला पाहिजे, तर आपल्याला ते ज्याला आपण म्हणतो की OMR शीटमध्ये आपली जी उत्तर लिहिणार आहे, तर त्याच्यामध्ये अक्वायर्ड नॉलेज आणि इन्फॉर्मेशन आहे त्याच्यातनं उत्तर काढता आली पाहिजेत. त्यासाठी अनालिटिकल अबिलिटी आणि एलिमिनेशन मेथड वापरली पाहिजे. सिली मिस्टेक्स होतात, ऑप्टिमम रिस्क टेकिंग आहे, ह्या सगळ्यांचा व्यवस्थित वापर केला पाहिजे. म्हणजे मिस्टेक काय केल्या पाहिजे, टाळल्या पाहिजेत आणि रिस्क ही ऑप्टिमम घेतली पाहिजे. त्यानंतर कॉम्प्रिहेंडिंग स्किल भरपूर असलं पाहिजे. कारण डू अंडरस्टँड द क्वेश्चन फुल्ली अँड करेक्टली बिफोर कन्फर्मिंग द आन्सर. बऱ्याच जणांचं काय होतं, कॉम्प्रिहेंडिंग स्किल नसतं, वाचत नाहीत बरोबर, ओव्हरलुक करतात आणि त्याच्यातनं मग उत्तरं चुकतात. तर ते टाळलं गेलं पाहिजे. आणि हिअर वी हॅव टू बिलीव्ह दॅट की मी जर समजा एका प्रश्नाचं उत्तर चुकवलं, तर मला मिळालेल्या प्रश्नातले 2.5 मार्क जाणार आहेत. कारण जनरल स्टडीजमध्ये एका प्रश्नाला 2 मार्क आहेत. आणि जर समजा मी चूक जर ती याच्यामध्ये केली, कुठे जनरल म्हणजे पेपर 2 म्हणजे सीसॅट मध्ये केली, तर तिथे एक प्रश्न चुकला की माझे 3 मार्क जाणार आहेत. आणि त्याच्यामुळं चुका कमी करणं, पण याचा अर्थ असा नाही की कमी प्रश्न सोडवणं. म्हणजे जर समजा माझ्या चुका जास्त होतात, मी 50 प्रश्न सोडवले, तर इट माइट नॉट सफिशियंट. त्यामुळे आपल्याला कुठल्याही परिस्थितीमध्ये 100 पैकी जनरल स्टडीजच्या 90 प्रश्नांची उत्तरं त्या OMR शीटमध्ये काळी केलीच पाहिजेत आणि 80 प्रश्नांपैकी जवळजवळ एक 70 प्रश्नांची उत्तरं काळी केलीच पाहिजेत. त्यामुळे मी जे काही उत्तर पत्रिकेमध्ये ज्या प्रश्नांची उत्तरं मार्क करणार, निगेटिव्ह मार्किंग टाळण्यासाठी त्यांची संख्या ही 70 अधिक 90 केली की 160 पेक्षा कमी असून चालत नाही. बऱ्याच जणांना वाटतं की ते कमी जास्त सोडवली आणि जास्त चुकली की कमी म्हणजे मार्क पडतात, तसं नाहीये ते. तर इथे किमान ज्याला आपण म्हणतो ना उत्तरं नोंद करणं ही अपेक्षित जी आहे, तर ते 90 अधिक 70 केले की 160, आणि त्याच्यामुळे 10% जरी चुकली आपली तरी सुद्धा आपलं जे टार्गेट आहे ते गाठायला आपल्याला काही अडचण जात नाही. आणि मग ह्याच्यासाठी बेसिक मेंटल फ्रेमवर्क ऑफ द आन्सर वाईल रीडिंग द क्वेश्चन, आणि हे शिकलं पाहिजे. आणि हे कसं शिकायचं, तर सध्या आपण जी काही तयारी करताना जे मटेरियल वाचू, एखाद्या पुस्तकाचं पान असेल, आम्ही पाठवलेली पीपीटी असेल, तर त्यावेळेला त्या पीपीटी किंवा त्या पीडीएफ फाईल मधलं माहिती वाचत असताना त्याच्यावरती कसा प्रश्न विचारला जाऊ शकेल याचा सातत्याने विचार करूनच आपल्याला काय करायला पाहिजे, त्या परीक्षेच्या तयारी करताना ती मेंटॅलिटी डेव्हलप केली पाहिजे. सो द मेंटल फ्रेमवर्क इज वॉट एव्हर आय एम गोइंग टू रीड, whatever question will be asked on that. Suppose I am able to frame the question on myself, so then you should consider that material is useful for the exam. And suppose if I am not, but then don't read at all. आणि मग ते काय वाचायचं काय नाही वाचायचं ते आपण पुढे बघणार आहोत. त्याच्यानंतर डू नॉट वेट फॉर द आन्सर टू कम टू यू, इन्स्टेड फोर्स इट आउट. त्यामुळे ती सवय लावलीच पाहिजे. आणि डोंट ओव्हरस्टेज इमॅजिनेशन ऑल्सो. तर मी बघितलं की अचूक उत्तर काढायचे 5 स्रोत असतात, आणि उत्तर चुका टाळायची परत 5 कारण असतात. म्हणजे माझी उत्तरं का चुकतात त्याला 5 कारण आहेत, आणि माझी उत्तरं का बरोबर येतात त्याला सुद्धा 5 कारण आहेत. मग त्यातलं सगळ्यात महत्वाचं कारण म्हणजे आपला अभ्यास. म्हणजे तुम्ही किती अभ्यास केलाय, म्हणजे तुमच्याकडे किती बुद्धिमत्ता आहे, तुमच्याकडे स्मृती किती आहे, तयारी किती झाली, तर त्याचा आपले हे जे काही 80 अधिक 100 म्हणजे 180 प्रश्नापैकी निम्म्याच प्रश्नांची उत्तरं काढायला फायदा होतो. आता उरलेले जे काही निम्मे आहेत तर त्याची उत्तरं काढायला पुढची 4 घटक महत्वाचे, आणि ते वापरायला शिकलं पाहिजे आपण. आणि आपण काय करतो की पहिल्याच भागावरती जास्त भर देतो. म्हणजे पुस्तकं गोळा करायची, ती माहिती वाचायची, पण त्याच्या सहाय्याने किती येणार आहे, नॉट मोर दॅन 50%. आणि मग त्यामुळे उरलेल्याची उत्तर काढायला वी हॅव टू लर्न टू यूज द प्रिव्हियस नॉलेज. सेकंड थिंग इज एलिमिनेशन मेथड असली पाहिजे. त्यानंतर लॉजिक, गेस किंवा कॉमन सेन्सचा वापर केला पाहिजे, आणि इंट्युशन सुद्धा. म्हणजे आता एखादा प्रश्न सोडवताना तुम्हाला जसं मगाशी सांगितल्याप्रमाणे 50% उत्तर मला त्याचं कशावरून येणार, अभ्यासावरनं. उरलेले 50% उत्तर काढायला मला ह्या 4 कडे लक्ष द्यायला पाहिजे. आणि दीज स्किल्स आर व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट, इक्वली ऑर समटाइम आय विल से दॅट की मोर दॅन इम्पॉर्टंट. सपोज समबडी इज प्रिपेरिंग फॉर दिस एक्झाम फॉर लास्ट 3 to 4 years, सो दे शुड नॉट नाउ रीड अट ऑल. सो त्यांनी कशावरती लक्ष द्यायला पाहिजे, प्रश्न सोडवायचे, दुसरं काही करायचं नाही. सोडवायचं, बरोबर आले त्याच्याबद्दल बघायचं नाही, चुकलं का त्याची कारणं शोधायची. आणि इफ यू डू दॅट रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव्ह स्टडी, सो दॅट जनरली हेल्प्स अ लॉट. अँड दीज आर द 5 रिझन्स वाय आवर आन्सर्स गो रॉंग. आणि मला नेहमी वाटतं की आपण प्रश्न सोडवलं, उत्तरपत्रिका सोडवली तर ती नेहमी चेक केली पाहिजे. बरीच मुलं काय करतात, उत्तर पेपर सोडवतात आणि उत्तरपत्रिका चेक करत नाही, त्याच्यामुळे त्यांना ते फीडबॅक मिळत नाही. त्यामुळे स्व फीडबॅक ज्याला आपण म्हणतो तो जास्त महत्वाचा. समजा 1 तासामध्ये मी 100 प्रश्न सोडवले, तर नंतरच्या 15 ते 20 मिनिटांमध्ये त्यातलं माझं काय बरोबर काय चूक हे लक्षात घेऊन उरलेल्या दिवसभरात जे चुकलेलं आहे ते का चुकलं आणि त्याचा बरोबर येण्यासाठी काय करायला पाहिजे ह्याच्याकडे लक्ष द्यायला पाहिजे. त्याच्यामुळं माझी उत्तरं जर समजा मी अनालिसिस केली आणि माझी उत्तरं का चुकली, तर अभ्यास न केल्यामुळे. समजा एखाद्या विद्यार्थ्याने पेपर सोडवला, त्याला 60 प्रश्नांची उत्तर आली, सगळी 100ची त्यांनी मार्क केले आणि त्याची 40 चुकली. आता त्या चुकलेल्या 40 मध्ये लॅक ऑफ स्टडीमुळं समजा 70-80% उत्तरं जरी चुकली असतील तर ते चांगली गोष्ट असते, रिमेंबर दॅट. पण खालच्या ह्याच्यामुळे काय होते, 2, 3, 4, 5 जे काही मुद्दे आहेत त्याच्यामुळे जर उत्तर माझी चुकली तर माझी तयारी वाया गेली. त्यामुळं युटिलिटेरियन किंवा प्रोडक्टिव्ह व्हॅल्यू इन माय प्रिपरेशन जर मला आणायचं असेल, तर अभ्यास न केल्यामुळे उत्तर येणं कधीही चांगलं, किंवा अभ्यास न केल्यामुळे उत्तर चुकणं कधीही चांगलं. पण अभ्यास करून जर उत्तर चुकत असतील तर 2, 3, 4, 5 मुळे चुकतात, आणि बऱ्याच मुलांचा तो नेमका प्रॉब्लेम आहे. म्हणजे वारंवार ही परीक्षा देतात, 1-2 मार्कांनी जे मुलांचं जातं तर दॅट इज 2, 3, 4, 5 पॉईंट्स. मग प्रॉब्लेम विथ कॉम्प्रिहेंडिंग, मगाशी जे सांगितलं, तर ते एखादा प्रश्नाचा अर्थ समजत नाही, आणि तो बऱ्याच वेळेला ते कसं असतं, इंग्लिश आणि मराठीत पेपर असतो. अनेकदा काय होतं की इंग्लिश भाषेचं ट्रान्सलेशन मराठीमध्ये ते ऍक्टिव्हचं पॅसिव्ह करत नाही, इंग्लिश म्हणजे ते गुगल ट्रान्सलेटर, आणि त्याच्यामुळे ते टेक्निकल मध्ये ती विचारलं जातं. म्हणजे ते सबऑर्डिनेट क्लॉज, मेन क्लॉज यांची काही सांगड मराठीमध्ये व्यवस्थित लागत नाही भाषांतराच्या वेळेला, आणि त्यामुळे त्याचा आपल्याला उत्तर काढताना अनेक वेळेला तोटा होतो. आणि म्हणून त्याकडे आपल्याकडे स्वतःचं कॉम्प्रिहेंडिंग स्किल असायलाच पाहिजे. ओव्हरलुकिंग अनेक जणांचं होतं, म्हणजे बऱ्याच वेळा नॉट करेक्ट विचारलं जातं, इनकरेक्ट विचारलं जातं, आणि मग त्या बऱ्याच वेळा नॉट करेक्ट म्हणून काय करतात, नॉट करेक्ट असलेली सगळी देतात. आणि मग अशा त्यावेळेला काय होतं की करेक्ट असलेली सगळी देतात आणि त्यावेळेला आपण ते वाचतो नॉट करेक्ट, पण उत्तर मार्क करत असताना ते करेक्टचं उत्तर तिथं करून येतो आणि त्याच्यामुळं माहिती असून सुद्धा आपली चुकलेली असते. त्यामुळे तो ओव्हरलुकिंगचा, सिली मिस्टेक, ओव्हर कॉन्फिडन्स. आता काय झालं की गेली 2 वर्ष UPSC पूर्व परीक्षा किंवा मुख्यच्या इंटरव्ह्यू झालेली मुलं सगळीकडे यायला लागले आणि त्याच्यामुळे सुद्धा मेरिट वाढते असं अनेक जणांचं म्हणणं. पण माझं बऱ्याच वेळेला असं दिसतं की UPSC पेक्षा MPSC ची पूर्व परीक्षा ही कितीतरी जास्त पटीने कठीण आहे. गेल्या वर्षीचा निकाल जर तुम्ही बघितला, म्हणजे आता फॉर एक्झाम्पल आताच सांगतो मी, आताच UPSCने काय केलंय, त्यांची निकाल लावला आणि त्याच्यामध्ये UPSCच्या पूर्व परीक्षेमध्ये पास होण्याचं ओपन जनरलचे मेरिट 92 मार्काचं होतं, 92. आणि इथं आता आपल्याकडे 203 आहे. आता तिथे कसं करतात, ते पेपर 2 विचारात घेत नाहीत. पण आता 203चं जरी निम्मं केलं तरी 101 होता. म्हणजे याच्यात काय झालं की MPSCचं मेरिट 101 गेलं आणि ते मेरिट किती गेलं, 92 गेलं. म्हणजे याचा अर्थ ते तुलना करणं योग्य नाही. पण व्हॉट जस्ट आय वॉन्ट टू टेल की UPSCची मुलं इकडे जास्त येतात म्हणून मला तिकडे काही जमणार नाही, असं म्हणून अनेक मुलं या परीक्षेचा फॉर्म भरत नाहीत. म्हणजे गेल्या 2-3 वर्षातलं ते जाणवतंय की UPSCची मुलं इकडे यायला लागल्यामुळे मग आमचं काय होत नाही, मग आम्ही सबऑर्डिनेटेड परीक्षा देणार, म्हणजे दुय्यम सेवा देणार, राज्यसेवेची तयारी करणारच नाही, अशी म्हणणारी मुलं आहेत. तर ते आपण तशा नादाला लागू नये. त्याच्याऐवजी प्रत्येक परीक्षा ही द्यायलाच पाहिजे. आणि ह्या ज्या काही गोष्टी आता थोडक्यात आपण बघितल्या, क्वांटिटी, क्वालिटी आणि त्याच्याचबरोबर प्रॅक्टिस प्रॅक्टिस करत असताना 10 मुद्दे सतत डोक्यात पाहिजेत. तयारी करत असताना एक मुद्दा सतत डोक्यात काय पाहिजे, मी वाचलं, प्रश्न कसा येईल. आणि मग ऑलवेज इफ यू आर थिंकिंग इन दॅट, तर त्या परीक्षेच्या इकोसिस्टीम मध्ये जातात. त्याच्यामुळे 2 जानेवारीसाठी ही म्हणजे दिस इज ऑप्टिमम टाइम. म्हणजे तुमच्यापैकी कुणी ठरवलं की नाही मी आजपासून पूर्व परीक्षेची तयारी करणार आहे आणि बेसिक मिनिमम क्वांटिटी ऑफ द टाइम रिक्वायर्ड फॉर द प्रिपरेशन ऑफ दिस एक्झाम इज नॉट मोर दॅन 400 आवर्स. म्हणजे एखाद्याने 400 तासाचा अभ्यास व्यवस्थित केला आणि जर समजा तो तशा बऱ्यापैकी स्किल मगाशी सांगितलं अक्वायर केलं, तर इट इज मोर दॅन इनफ टू स्कोर ऍटलीस्ट 250. मग ते जरा थोडं आपल्याला ते प्रॅक्टिस करून ते घालायला पाहिजे. आता इथे तुमच्या माहितीसाठी मागचे काही मेरिट जे आहे ते आपण बघितले जातात. तर आता 2020 इथं मेरिट 203 येणार आणि मग इथे जर बघितलं सगळ्यात कमी मेरिट ते 2015ला 1,400 गेलं होतं आणि आतापर्यंत हायएस्ट 2018ला गेले किती, 247. म्हणजे आता अलीकडचा ट्रेंड बघितला गेला 3 परीक्षा 247, 197, 230. आणि हे बाकीचं कॅटेगरीचं मी विचारात घेत नाही, कारण जवळजवळ आता अलीकडच्या काळात कॅटेगरीचं मेरिट सुद्धा तेवढंच गेले. म्हणजे आता उदाहरण जर दाखवायचं झालं तर इथे बघा, हे ओपन जनरलचं 203 आहे, SC जनरलचं 194 गेले, पण ST जनरल 173, DTA 203, त्यानंतर NTB 202, त्यानंतर SBC 203, NTC 203, NTD 203, OBC 203, EWS 203. म्हणजे तुमच्या लक्षात आलं असेल की म्हणजे कॅटेगरीतली मुलं ही कुणा इतके मार्क पाडतात, ओपन जनरल कितके. आणि त्याच्यामुळं ज्यांना आरक्षणाचा आरक्षित संवर्गाचा फायदा घेऊन ती मुलं ओपन मधनं सुद्धा निवडत होत असल्यामुळं ते कॉम्पिटिशन वाढलेले आहे. आणि त्याच्यामुळं आणि ती वाढून सुद्धा कितीपर्यंत मेरिट गेले, 203, त्याच्यापेक्षा जास्त जात नाही. आणि त्याच्यामुळं आपण तयारी करताना या मुद्द्याकडे लक्ष द्यायला पाहिजे. आता ह्या परीक्षा ज्या आहेत, तर इथं तुम्हाला काय केलंय, किती परीक्षांचं वितरण दिलेलं आहे अभ्यासक्रमानुसारचं. आता अभ्यासक्रमात आपल्या 14 टॉपिक आहेत आणि ह्या 14 टॉपिक मध्ये पहिला जो करंट इव्हेंट्स आहे. मग जर समजा तुम्ही बघितलं तर सगळ्यात कमी करंट इव्हेंट्सवरती प्रश्न हे 2013 मध्ये होते आणि ते फक्त 9च विचारले होते. आणि सगळ्यात जास्त हे 15 आणि 16 मध्ये होते, 18 विचारले होते. मग त्याच्यामध्ये स्टेटचे किती, राज्याचे म्हणजे राष्ट्रीय किती, आंतरराष्ट्रीय किती, हे वितरण दिलेलं आहे. इतिहासावरती साधारण 14 ते 15 असे प्रश्न आलेले आहेत. हायएस्ट प्रश्न इतिहासावरती 2016 मध्ये होते आणि त्याच्यानंतर किमान प्रश्न 2013 मध्येच. पण ऍव्हरेजली यू कॅन से करंट इव्हेंटवरती 15 प्रश्न, इतिहासावरती 15 प्रश्न. जगाचा भूगोल जर बघितलं तर तुम्ही मॅक्झिमम प्रश्न हे 2000, म्हणजे भूगोल सगळा चला तो जगाचाच नुसता नाही बाकीच्या याच्यावर सुद्धा, तर ते 22 प्रश्न 2017ला होते आणि किमान प्रश्न जर बघितले 2015ला 12 गेले होते, तर सरासरी सुद्धा इथं 15 म्हणायचे. त्यानंतर पॉलिटी जे आहे त्याच्यामध्ये सुद्धा किमान 9 होते आणि मॅक्झिमम 16 पर्यंत गेले होते. त्यानंतर ज्याला आपण इकॉनॉमिक आणि सोशल डेव्हलपमेंट म्हणतो, तिथे सुद्धा 5 ते 15 असं 5 ते 17 असं होतं. म्हणजे 17 मध्ये बाकीच्यात कमी पण इकॉनॉमीला जास्त होता. त्यानंतर एन्व्हायरमेंट वरती मात्र एमपीएससीच्या परीक्षेमध्ये फारच कमी प्रश्न विचारले गेलेले आहेत आणि त्यामुळे किमान 5 होते आणि कमाल म्हणजे किमान 4 होते, कमाल 9 वरती गेलेले आहेत. आणि त्याच्यानंतर जर तुम्ही बघायला गेला सामान्य विज्ञान ह्याच्यावरती जास्त विचारलेले आहे. आणि मग सायन्स अँड टेक्नॉलॉजी जर तुम्ही बघायला गेला तर ते 27 प्रश्न आलेले आहेत. किमान आलेल्या प्रश्नांची संख्या ती 21 होती, 21 वरनं 27 आणि मग सरासरी ते 20 प्रश्न विचारले गेलेत, हे आपल्या लक्षात येऊन जाईल. तर असे हे 7 टॉपिक GS1 चे. नंतर 7 टॉपिक हे GS2 चे. मग GS2 मध्ये सुद्धा बघा उतार्यावरती दरवेळेला प्रश्न जे आलेले आहेत ते उतारी किती 8, मग त्याच्यावरती 40 2019ला, 2018ला 8 40, 6ला 35 प्रश्न, 7 उतारे 35 प्रश्न, 8 उतारे 35 प्रश्न. म्हणजे काही वेळेला उतार्यावरती पूर्वी कसं होतं की एका उतार्यावरती 2, 3 असं वगैरे यायचे आणि त्यामुळे इकडे उतार्यांची संख्या जास्त. पण इकडे जर तुम्ही बघितलं आता 18 आणि 19 आणि आता 20ला सुद्धा 8-8च उतारे आले होते, प्रत्येकावरती 5-5 प्रश्न म्हणजे 40 झालं. आणि त्याच्यानंतर संवाद कौशल्य आणि आंतरव्यक्ती कौशल्य ह्या टॉपिकवरती आतापर्यंत एकही प्रश्न आले नाही. टॉपिकचे नाव दिले, कदाचित ह्या टॉपिकशी संबंधित जे प्रश्न असतील ते उतार्यात असतील किंवा बाकीच्या कुठल्या ह्याच्यामध्ये असतील, पण ऍसेस तो टॉपिक बघितला, त्यातलं कंटेंट बघितलं तर त्याचं वर्गीकरण करताना कुठेतरी आपल्याला ते समावेश करताना म्हणजे ज्याला काय म्हणतात त्याला ते तंतोतंत आपल्याला मानता येत नाही की हा प्रश्न बाबा इंटरपर्सनल अँड कम्युनिकेशन स्किलवरचा आहे. त्याच्यानंतर ज्याला आपण म्हणतो ना लॉजिकल रिझनिंग, त्याच्यावरती किमान प्रश्न 7, कमाल 11 आले होते. त्यानंतर डिसिजन मेकिंग वरती पूर्वी एकदाच 7 आले होते, नंतर 5-5च विचारलेले आहेत. त्यानंतर मेंटल ॲबिलिटी वरती किमान प्रश्न 4 आले होते, कमाल 13 सुद्धा आले होते. म्हणजे आपण रफली 10-10 म्हणायचे, इथे 5-5 म्हणायचे, ही सुद्धा 10-10 म्हणायचे. आणि बेसिक न्यूमरसी वरती किमान 2 आले होते आणि कमाल 12, रेंज किती जास्त आहे बघा, त्यामुळे इथे 10 म्हणायचे. आणि नंतर हे जे 2 उतारे आहेत ना, इंग्रजी मराठीवरती एक येतोच, म्हणजे एकूण उतारे 10 विचारतात, प्रत्येकवरती 5, 50 प्रश्न झाले. त्याच्यात 40 प्रश्नांची जर मी उत्तर व्यवस्थित काढली 2.5 मार्क असतात, 40 गुणिले 2.5 100 तिथेच झाले. आणि उरलेल्या 30 पैकी जरी समजा 10 जरी झाले तर तो तिथला स्कोर माझा 120-130 पर्यंत जातो. तर पेपर 2 मध्ये काही झालं तरी 100च्या खाली जायचं नाही. 100च्या खाली जाण्यापेक्षा तिथं आपल्याला 110-120 आणि पेपर 2चा अभ्यास म्हणजे तिथं प्रॅक्टिसच आहे, ते दुसरं काही करता येत नाही. म्हणजे उतारे किमान वेळेत कसे सोडवायचे आणि काय करायचं, अगेन दॅट इज रिलेटेड टू युअर रिडिंग कॅपॅबिलिटी, मग त्याच्याकडे थोडा भर द्यायला पाहिजे. त्याच्यानंतर उतारावरचे जे विषय आहेत ना, म्हणजे आता तुम्ही काय करायला पाहिजे, आतापर्यंत ह्या काय बघायला सांगितलं ना 8 परीक्षा, मग 8 परीक्षामध्ये किती उतार येऊन गेले, तर इथं दिलेल्या ह्याच्याप्रमाणे रफ 8 गुणिले 8 केले की 64 आणि इकडचे कुठल्या ह्याचे मराठी इंग्रजी बघितले तर ते जवळजवळ 16, 64 आणि 1680 उतार येऊन गेले. आणि मध्ये 80 उतारांचा जरी मी अभ्यास केला, मग त्याच्यात बघा रसायनशास्त्र, गंधचिकित्सा, अणुसिद्धांत म्हणजे असले प्रश्न विचारले गेलेले आहेत. आणि त्यामुळे आपला जो जनरल स्टडीचा जो टॉपिक आहे तर त्याचं अभ्यास मटेरियल म्हणजे यू कॅन कन्सिडर दिस ॲज वन ऑफ द व्हॉट सोर्स ऑफ जनरल स्टडीज पेपर 1 मटेरियल. आणि मग त्याच्यातनं दोन्ही गोष्टी होतात, हे 80 उतारे वाचून त्याच्यावरती उत्तर कसं काढायचं तेही समजतं आणि याच्यातनं मिळणारी इन्फॉर्मेशन ही जनरल स्टडीज 1 मध्ये सुद्धा आपल्याला उपयोगी पडते. म्हणजे इथे दिलेले जे टॉपिक बघितले तुम्ही, त्या टॉपिकवरून तुमच्या लक्षात आलं की 80 उतार्यांचं हे असे टॉपिक आलेले आहेत. आणि मग हे एकंदरीत आपली ही पहिली स्लाइड आजची चर्चेची. याचा फक्त उद्देश हा स्लाइड दाखवण्याचा एवढाच होता की आता जाहिरात आलेली आहे, आपल्याला आता कृती करायलाच पाहिजे. अँड वी शुड नॉट बी ओनली ऍप्लिकंट बट वी शुड बी द ऍस्पिरंट. आणि महाराष्ट्रातनं नाही म्हणायला गेलं तर 3 लाख अर्ज भरणारच, त्या 3 लाखातनं घेणार आहेत किती 6,000 किंवा 4,500च घेणार आहेत. जनरलमध्ये ते 3,000च असणार आहेत. मला 3,000 मध्ये यायचं आहे, मग माझा स्कोर हा 210 पर्यंत असला पाहिजे आणि 210च्या ह्याच्यातनं तशा दृष्टिकोनातनं मी तयारी करणार. तर तो एक महत्वाचा भाग जो आहे तो लक्षात घ्यायला पाहिजे आणि त्याच्यानुसार मग आपण आपल्या ह्या परीक्षेची तयारी करायची. मग आता हे 100 पॉईंटची तयारी करायची म्हणजे काय करायचं, त्याच्याबद्दलची ही दुसरी स्लाइड आहे. हे निकेत किंवा ऋषिकेश दिसते ही स्लाइड?
येस सर, दिसते.
तर जरा ही स्लाइड जरा आता आपल्या आजच्या चर्चेसाठी फार महत्वाची आहे. आता ही स्लाइड महत्वाची म्हणजे काय आहे, तर आता मगाशीपासून जी आपण चर्चा करत होतो त्याचाच हा पुढचा भाग आहे. पण इथे नेमकं जे आपले अभ्यासक्रमातले हे जे टॉपिक आहे, मग आता ही दुसरी स्लाइड जी आहे ती जनरल स्टडीज मधले 100 पॉईंटची चर्चा म्हणजे तयारी कशी करायची आणि त्याला जनरल स्टडीज पेपर 2 मधल्या जवळजवळ 80 पॉईंटची सांगड कशी घालायची, तर त्या दृष्टिकोनातनं आपण ते बघतोय. मग आता इथं मगाशी तुम्हाला दाखवलं त्याच्याप्रमाणे इथं लक्षात येईल तुम्हाला की हे जे 7 महत्वाचे टॉपिक आहेत. मग या 7 महत्वाच्या टॉपिकमध्ये सरासरी जर तुम्ही काढली, प्रत्येक वर्षी त्याच्यात 15 प्रश्न आले असे आपण गृहीत धरायचे. मग हिस्ट्री अँड इंडियन नॅशनल मुवमेंट, देर आर गोइंग टू बी से 15 टॉपिक्स. Then the Maharashtra, India and world geography, there are going to be 15 topics. Then Maharashtra, India and both that polity and governance, there are going to be 15 topics. Economic and social development, there are going to be 15 topics. Ecology, biodiversity, climate change, average that will come the 7 topics. General science, averagely it will come to say around 17 to 18 topics. So likewise, and current event, there are going to be the 15 questions. So roughly you can say that 6 topics are equally having say 15 questions, and those are except that ecology, biodiversity and the climate, and few questions from that can be considered for the questions from the general science also, and so that can be the 10 this thing. So 6 topics, 15 each, and economy, that ecology, biodiversity 10, so that roughly becomes 100, and so that should be our strategy of those 100 points. मग आता इथे काय केलं आपण, हे पेपर 2 चं बघा. हे पेपर 1 वी हॅव सीन दॅट, सो दिस इज टाइप ऑफ द पेपर 2 मध्ये आपल्याला 80 प्रश्न असतात. आणि रफली जर समजा तुम्ही इथे बघायला गेला, मगाशी व्हॉट वी हॅव सीन दॅट कॉम्प्रिहेन्शन, देर आर गोइंग टू बी द 40 क्वेश्चन्स. Interpersonal and communication skill, there was none or as much we can't rather you can say demarcate. So this is the question which is going to test the interpersonal and communication skills, because those who are conventional questions on those particular topics, they were not asked. They might have asked some other way, but we were not able to find out whether these are the questions on the interpersonal or the communication skill or not. Then logical reasoning and analytical ability, roughly 10 questions. Decision making, 5 questions. General mental ability, 7 to 8 questions. Basic numeracy, another 7 to 8 questions. And language, again another 10 questions on those topics. So likewise we have to keep this in mind. Then we go to one by one. Now first is related, these are the 15 topics on history and India national movement. So what are those 15 topics? So these 15 topics, if you can see here, see these are the important 15 topics. See, ancient India, 4 questions usually they are asking. Then medieval history, 3 questions. History of modern India, 4 questions. Indian national movement, 4 questions. So what is that history of ancient India? Usually they are asking question from the Indus Valley or the prehistory also. So Indus Valley is supposed to be say around about 3000 years before AD, 1 AD. And so from those 3000 BC to 21 or the 2000 AD, so 5000 years history we have to study. So ancient history, 3000 BC to 1000 AD, so that is called the ancient India. Then that 11th century or the 12th century or the beginning of the 12th century, especially in 1206, that Islamic rule started in India and the Ghulam dynasty started ruling Delhi Sultanate. And so from 1000 AD itself up to War of the Plassey, that is 1757, is considered as a medieval India. And from 1757 to 1947, so that almost around about 190 years. Out of that, first say around about 100 years to that 150 years, you can say 1757 to 1900, or till the Congress Party was established, or 1885. So that is considered again the modern history of India, and the remaining period is considered as the Indian national movement. So accordingly, so this is the distribution of these 15 questions. And basically you have to remember, this history is not only the factual history, Most of the questions are asked on the architectural history, literature, then socio-cultural, political, and the economic history. So while we are studying each and every dynasty or each and every phase in Indian history, we have to emphasize more on this architecture, literature, socio-cultural aspect, that caste system, status of women, children, like that. Then political thing, and the last is economic approach to the history. So these are the 15 topics that Indus Valley, then Vedic culture, Buddhism, Jainism, Maurya Empire, then Guptas, Vardhans, and especially in Maharashtra, we had these dynasties. Satavahanas, their rule started in our state almost 200 BC. That 200 BC to say around about 300. And then we had those Vakataks, then Chalukyas, Rashtrakutas, Shilars, Yadavs, who were defeated by that Alauddin Khalji during the 14th century. And that is how that Maratha, I mean, this say, Yadav or that regional rule was not there. Then South India, especially Cheras, Pandyas, Cholas, Kadambas, so they have ruled South India from ancient time. And even related to that, they are asking the question. So these first four topics are related to the ancient. Then next three topics are related to the medieval. So Delhi Sultanate and the Mughal Empire. So Delhi Sultanate as such started, I told you, 1206. And that Qutbuddin Aibak was the beginner. And then Battle of this thing, Panipat, first Battle of Panipat, 1526. Lodi dynasty ended its rule, Islamic rule. And then we had that rule of the Babur or the Mughals. And then in that first war of independence, 1857, this fellow was arrested, Bahadur Shah Jafar. And then it is considered the end of the Mughal era. But as such, that Mughal era or the Mughal rule was lost with the death of Aurangzeb at Kuldabad, that is in Aurangabad. So 1707. And that 1707 to 1857, as such, we did not have a central strong Mughal leadership because it was managed by even Marathas. Marathas indirectly ruled India almost for more than 100 years. And that too, making certain or the supporting somebody as a Badshah or the Mughal king. So then during that period, see the social movement, Bhakti and Sufi movement, then Bahmani and Vijayanagar Maratha Empire. So these are the three important topics on which they are asking the question. And then Anglo-British War from 1757 to 1857. So Britishers fought almost more than 100 wars with the local princely states. And the important are around about 20-30 wars. So if you remember them, and then what was the reason, what was the outcome, who were the leaders, so something like what were the treaties signed. So the question related to that is a part and parcel of what we call as a Indian national, Indian modern history, which began after 1857. And then we had these social religious reforms and the organizations, education, phrase, leaders, rise of nationalism, Congress and other parties, militant nationalism, farmer and labor movements, freedom movements, Swadeshi, non-cooperation, then civil disobedience, quit India, and Muslim League, Communist Party, then independence and Sahitya Maharashtra. So these are the 15 topics which we need to study properly so that 15 into 2, 30 marks we'll be able to get, or at least around what I'm able to solve 10 questions correctly over here. So that will give me almost 20 marks. Second is related to the Maharashtra and India world. So these are the 16 to 30. So next 15 topics. Then if we go to the Indian polity, so these are the 5 important topics which have been mentioned in the syllabus. So these are the, say, around about 9 important topics which has been mentioned in the syllabus. But in case of the history, these are the topics not mentioned in the syllabus, but you can do this type of the classification based on those 30 into 8. So every year there are 15 questions. 30 into 8 means those many marks. So 15 into 8, 120 questions of history have been there, which have been asked in a MPSC. So that, suppose if you see the subject, so from that you can do this type of the classification. And this classification of geography is given in the syllabus itself. What they have said, Maharashtra, Indian world geography. And the second sentence they are given what? Physical, social and economic geography. So now India, Maharashtra world, and each of having these 3 types of the geography, that total becomes 9 topics for the 15 marks. Then in polity and the governance, so they've written like the title is Maharashtra and India, Indian polity and governance. And these are the 5 topics which have been mentioned in the syllabus, that constitution, political system, Panchayat Raj, urban governance, public policy, and human rights issues. And each is going to have 3 marks. And roughly that distribution has been followed by the MPSC. And then each of that will be having, say, another, because the 15 topics, so there are the 5 topics, and so there will be the 3 important topics. So what we have to study in that? So another 15 topics from this after this history and what you say in the geography. These are the 15 from the polity. Another 15 from the economic and social development. Now, what happened in this case? So this is the most what you can call as a modified topic by commission to ask the questions, because they have mentioned only first 5 topics: sustainable development, poverty, inclusion, demographics, and social sector initiatives. So these are the first 5 topics which have been mentioned in the syllabus. But suppose if you see those 120 questions which have been asked in the last 8 exams, you will find that more questions has been asked on the next 5 topics. So the first 5 topics has been mentioned in the syllabus. Next 5 topics have been question has been asked. So then we have to study this also. Otherwise, what happens if we stick only to the syllabus? So there are a lot of issues you will be facing while solving or finding the answers. And what are those 5 topics? So public finance, that taxation, budgeting, audit, accounting, so related to that. Then external trade, that is the foreign trade, what is the volume, then direction, then composition, and then various what you call the trade policies declared related to that, various measures taken by the government also. Then next is related to the banking. They're asking questions on that, especially on the monetary policy, credit policy, inflation, like that. Then industry, of course, there are asked at least 1 questions every time. Agriculture, at least 1 question on every time. So this question number 46 to 60, suppose I had a hypothetical paper prepared for you of the 100 questions. So 15 questions will be from this economy and social development. And in that, these are the 60 topics which you have to study, others 15 topics. Then biodiversity, as I told you, minimum questions which have been asked number is a 4. 4 number of the questions were asked. So these are this ecosystem, environmental imbalance, biodiversity, sanctuaries and national park, global warming, pollution. And if I study properly these 6 topics, this is going to help you in geography. This is going to help me to solve the questions in current events. This is going to help me to solve the questions in science also. So this is also a very good topic. So you can correlate many questions from this particular topic with other, the subtopics in our syllabus. Then related to the general science, that is usual, the physics, chemistry, zoology, botany, agriculture science, then health and hygiene, the food, nutrition, and science and technology. So say round about from 67 to the 85. So that becomes almost around about 18 topics, and they are asking, or more than that also, they are asking question on that. And the last is related to, actually in the syllabus, they are given the first. But what we are doing the last, because current events, you have to study in detail while preparing for the other topics. So when I'm studying history, so that time I should be always keep in the mind what is the contemporary history. So that is nothing but what happened 100 years back. So the history of 1921 is important. So then what happened 50 years back? So the history of say around 1971 is very important. So say around 200 years, 1821 is very important. So the contemporary history is related to that. And then current events of the history, current events of the geography, current events of the economy, then science and technology, environmental issues, and then of course polity and other things. So these are the another 15 questions asked on that. Now what we are going to do in today's lecture. So here this paper of 2021. On 23rd March, this exam was conducted and there were the 100 questions. And suppose those 100 questions are distributed among those 100 questions which have been asked in 2023 exam. So you will find this type of the things. On history, there were 15 questions and then 15 topics. So there was not a single question on Indus Valley or the prehistory. But on Vedic culture, there was one Buddhism and Jainism on Vedic culture. So they are given the Parikshit, Janmejay, then the Pravara, Javali, and the Jayavali, and the Janak. And who were these were the famous personalities you get from the Vedic culture, especially from the Puranas. So Puranas or Upanishads and related to that. And if you see the who was Parikshit, he was a hero of a famous song of praise found in Atharva Ved or the Atharva Ved. So then Janmejay is credited with having gone around the earth. So that is, and then Pravahan Jayavali, he was a famous philosopher, and Janak was the patron of Yajnavalk. And so likewise, see this, we will find that this as a what you call the redundant history, but it is not that way. So this is related to the so those four Vedas. Then we are having the Upanishads. Then Vedangas are there. Then Smruti and the Shruti literature is there. A lot of other books have been written, and the questions related to that and the famous personalities. So Vedic culture was given. That thing representation in the last year's paper. Then if you go to the Maurya Empire and after, so the Mauryan Empire started almost 324 BC when that Seleucus Nicator was defeated by whom? Chandragupta Maurya, and he got the power at Patna also, or the Patliputra, and then he was the first one, Chandragupta Maurya. His son was Bindusar, and his grandson was Ashoka. And so many times they are asked the question, who was the greatest son of the greatest father? So the son of the great father or the greatest father and the father of the greatest son. So Bindusar. So his father was great. So that Chandragupta Maurya, and Ashoka, his son was great. And so likewise, that type of the questions they are asking. So the Maurya dynasty, that Brihadrat, he killed the last Mauryan king, and the Shung dynasty started its ruling in our country. So they are asking the questions related to that also. Then we had these Guptas, then Vardhan dynasty, that Harshvardhan, other thing. And next question, it was related to Dash Dash wrote Natural History in 75 AD, in which there was reference to export from India. But they are given the Pliny, Herodotus, Megasthenes, Periplus. So this question is nothing but on what we call the source of the history. So what are the various sources of the Indian history? So there are the books, there are the inscriptions, there are the tourism, tourism description. Then we are doing a lot of finding out other resources also. And then they are asking this, and then I'll tell you. So this question you get exactly from the 12th standard. So same question has been this source of this question is from the 12th standard Maharashtra textbook history. So there I have given. So I told you, source of the history is one of that type of the question. Then another thing is related to the Malwas, then Arjunayans, then the Yaudheya, Madrak, Abhir, then the Prajun, or Sanakanik, Kakas, that Kakas also it is called, and Kharparikas. So who were there? So these were nothing but a small, princely states who were defeated by whom? Samudragupta. And so this is question related to the Gupta dynasty. First question, you can't call it related to the Mauryan dynasty because Mauryan dynasty was over by this time. And you can say this was related to the Cadaphasis or the Kanishka or what you call the Kushan dynasty. Then next is the Satwan, Chalukya, Rashtrakoot. There was not that question on that. Then Delhi Sultanate, there were two questions. One was related to the Sayyid dynasty. And then they have given the name of the, sultans, and they have the correct order. So who was the first one? So who from the following sultans were from the Sayyid dynasty? So whether Khijr Khan, Mubarak Shah, Muhammad Shah, Alauddin Ahmad Shah, that Alam Shah, all of them were from that Sayyid dynasty. So likewise, they will give the slave dynasty or the Khalji dynasty or the great Mughals or the little Mughals, and then you'll have to arrange the chronology. So the questions are asked in like that. Next is related to the Mughal dynasty. And the question was that who from the following persons were the court painters of the Shah Jahan? And they given that if you see, that especially that Muhammad Hassan, so he was not, but Hasham, then Chintamani or Anup Chitra, and then Fakirullah. So they were the from that. Now this type of the questions, whether it is possible to remain, I'm the remember. So many times it is very difficult. If you are while reading you have come across, so then you should write the that particular answer. You should mark in your OMR sheet. Otherwise, you can very well be very cautious because negative marking has been there. Then next is Bhakti and Sufi movement, not question. Then Bahamani, Vijayanagar and Maratha Empire. So that was a question related to the Peshwas, Maharaja Savai Jai Singh, Raghunath Navalkar, and Raja Sarpuji of the Tanjore. So this again from here you can get the idea. The questions have been asked more related to what I was telling you, architectural, literature. So the questions are related to that. So we should. Then Anglo-British wars and British rule, there was not a single question. But again, constitutional acts and the commissions and the pacts. So here it is related to Pakistan resolution. So this resolution was passed by Muslim League in 1940 Karachi session. So the Muslim League demanded that there should be a separate country for the Muslims, and that resolution was passed for the first time in 1940 at Karachi session of Muslim League. And Muhammad Ali Jinnah was one of the very influential leader during that period also. Unfortunately, till 1928, he was a strong supporter of the nationalism, and he was one of the front leader of the Congress. And then he was also advocate of Lokman
Bal Gangadhar Tilak.
Bal Gangadhar Tilak, correct. So what I was telling you here, the Pakistan resolution, that was in 1940. Then rejection of Rajaji's proposal in chronological, that they asked the chronological order. So rejection of Rajaji proposal, what that was again, during Second World War. So how the transfer, Britishers should transfer the power from British Empire to the Indians. And then Muslim League was demanding that the power should be given to them or country should be partitioned. So Liaquat Ali Khan from the Muslim League and Sri Rajagopalachari from Congress. So both of them came together. They found certain common points and they suggested their formula. And that formula is called the Rajaji Liaquat Ali formula, or it is called the Rajaji formula. And unfortunately, that they submitted that formula to Viceroy of that time, Lord Linlithgow was the Viceroy, and they submitted it. Unfortunately, he went back, and then Wavell came. Wavell could not get the proper time for the consideration, and so he rejected. Similarly, the same thing was rejected by the Muslim League and Congress Party also. So that was in 1944. Pakistan resolution, just now I told you when it was 1940. Then the Rajaji formula. So of course it should have come earlier, no? So 44 beginning and the rejection 44 end. And the Simla conference. So that was also organized by what you can call as a Lord Wavell. And after rejection of the Rajaji formula, what should we do? So this Simla conference was held in 1945 by Lord Wavell. So from this you can get the idea. Pakistan resolution, Lord Linlithgow was India's viceroy. Then Rajaji formula, Linlithgow was the viceroy. Then rejection, Wavell was the Simla conference, Wavell. And from this you can get the idea. So that definitely A is going to be the first and D is going to be what you can call as the C is going to be the last one. And so whatever the sequence they have given, so this should be considered the correct one. So just remember this type of the questions are also being asked. Then socio-religious reforms. Now basically there were the two questions, but one question was very familiar. Everybody was aware about what Mahatma Jyotiba Phule did. But the question which was the second question, it was from some remote or the unknown facts about the history. And then Keshav Rao Vichare, Bhaurao Patil, Krishna Rao Bhalekar, Ramchandra Ghadge. Out of these four personality, few of us are aware about Karmavir Bhaurao Patil, who started that Raya Shikshan Samstha. And we know Krishna Rao Bhalekar as one of the staunch supporter of Satyashodhak Samaj. or supporter of Mahatma Phule. But we don't know about the Keshav Vichar and Ramchandra Gadge. And the answer of this was given Ramchandra Gadge by MPSC. So you can consider solving previous year questions gives you the very good material for this preparation. And so that is why the previous year question papers and then answer what they have told or the marked correct, that is the correct answer. So there might be the various resources which might have the difference of opinion. But as far as in previous year exam, so I just now was telling so this exam was conducted for how many times? 8 times. So every time 100 means those becomes 800 questions. UPSC has conducted 10, that becomes 1800. So then other commissions are also there. And so what we had a compilation, almost around about 60 plus question papers from other PSCs. So 18 from UPSC, MPSC, and the 60 plus from the other. And that becomes 6,000. So 6,000 and this 1,800, 7,800. Now, whatever the program we have decided now to, go that. So it is based on these 7,800 questions. And then with permutation combinations, they are going to ask the questions. And so we have plan for us. And so accordingly, we'll do that. We'll study this whole general studies paper 1, that 40 days.
हेलो
बोल ना
सर, मी निकेत बोलतोय.
हाँ बोला निकेत.
सर बाकीचे जो पेपर्स आहेत, द रेस्ट 60 यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट,
हा
ते त्याच्यामधून लाईक इट विल बी मोस्ट ऑफ देम विल बी रिजनल टू दॅट स्टेट, राईट?
See, now I'll just answer this. Now what has happened, so whenever it is a reach, because the syllabus, if you see, especially related to the history, so out of 15 questions, I do agree there are say around about 3 to 4 questions to specially devoted for that particular state history. Geography, another 5 to 6 questions. Polity, as such, polity, economy, you will see all those questions are related to the either economic science or the political science and not to the regional one. So out of the 100, so for example, KPSC, Karnataka Public Service Commission, they have conducted this exam for almost 7 times. Like Maharashtra conducted 8, they conducted 7 times. Now, if you see those 700 questions, so you will find that hardly 50 to 60 questions are related to the Karnataka. Otherwise, remaining everything is for us. So whatever are related to those particular this thing, I mean state, we just should not consider. But the remaining 90 questions are going to help us for the preparation of the same exam. And so that is why, and moreover, just remember this main examination. Again, see, each main examination of MPSC, there are 4 general studies paper, each of 150. So that becomes 600 question papers, questions. Now this 600 has been conducted this exam for 8 times. So 600 into 8, 5,400. So those, then if you consider that subordinate prelim exam, so our study circle repository is having that PSA, that is public, this PSI, STI assistant. So that exam, first time it was conducted in 1979. So since 79 to until now, every year with 1 or 2 years that was not conducted, but every year prelim 100 questions. Earlier it used to be 150, then main 200 questions. So roughly you take that subordinate examination, every year at least 400 questions have been asked. Now just 79 to until now, so that becomes almost 50 years. So that 50 years into 500, that goes on 25,000. And believe me, those many questions we are having, but we are not using that for the preparation of this. So just I want to bring to your notice that what have been the latest trend is important. Earlier, the questions used to be the one-liner. So you won't believe, see, that 2013 before. Because see, this whole thing of the preparation of the exam become more skill-oriented after 2013. Prithviraj Chauhan, he was working as a PMO, that Minister of State at a PMO when Manmohan Singh ji was PM, and he PMO is in charge of UPSC and DOPT, Department of Personnel Training. So all those IAS officer, IPS officer, IRS, all any cadre you take, or even controlling the PSCs, remaining PSCs also is done by that DOPT only. And so that time he introduced this CSAT and the different approach. And since then, not only MPSC or UPSC, all the PSCs, they are conducting the exam in a different manner, not to find out only IQ of the student, but they are going more importance to the emotional quotient, thought quotient, social quotient of that candidate. And however you study, the quantity of the study or the quality of the study, and if you don't practice solving the questions or the finding of the answer and not developing those skills, it is very difficult. So likewise, we have to study in this way. And so will be using that one of the very good source of the material, those questions. Hello? Yeah, no. So then this is related to the education and praise and leaders. Now I was just telling you about this Ramchandra Ghadge. So if you go and try to, even you Google also, you won't get this type of the information, because Ramchandra Ghadge, he was from Kali village in Satara district, and this village is that familiar with Bhaurav Patil also. Because Rail Shikshan Samstha for the first time was founded at Kale only by Bhaurav Patil, and then later it was shifted to the Satara. Then he had studied up to the 4th standard. Bhaurav Patil studied up to the 7th standard. Then his Jalsa had tremendous impact on the people of Maharashtra, and these Jalsas were celebrated by that was a type of a pravachan or that prabodhan. आणि सत्यशोधक समाजाचे ते जलसा असायचे. सो दॅट वॉज, आणि ही यूज टू मेक द बहुजन समाज अवेअर ऑफ देअर पिटिएबल कंडिशन अँड लॅक ऑफ एज्युकेशन अँड सो अवेअरनेस वॉज क्रिएटेड बाय हिम. सो Ramchandra Ghadge, so these 4 sentences, so they can ask a question related to that. Similarly, Krishnarao Bhalekar, in few of the exams they are given at least 5 to 6 sentences about him. Bhaurav Patil, the material is available. Keshavrao Vichare, so also 2 to 3 lines are available on him. And so that is how we can collect the data and stick up to with our those notes, and then it can be the exam oriented thing. Then next is related the education, praise and leaders. There was not a single question. Then rise of nationalism and Congress. So here it was, they given the Mukundas, B.G. Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, Ajit Chidambaram Pillai, and what they have contributed. So that was related to, again, in the beginning I have mentioned it, what it is: economic, political, social and cultural history. So this is more related to the economic history contribution by the Indian industrialist. And of course there is another, so here this Mukund Das, he composed patriotic songs. Then B.G. Tilak, we are aware that requested the Bombay mill owners to supply dhotis and at moderate rates. Then Lala Lajpat Rai, that Swadeshi movement against the use of foreign sugar, and Chidambaram Pillai, Swadeshi Steam Navigation Company. I want to bring to everybody's notice. So there were earlier question on Chidambaram Pillai. So he has started a Swadeshi Steam Navigation Company at Madras. And the question was asked about that. At Madras, Swadeshi Steam Navigation Company was started by whom? And the answer was the Chidambaram Pillai. And so suppose if I solve the previous year question paper, and in that if I have mentioned that sentence, I will be able to use this sentence. And now if you see that B.G. Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, Mukund Das, and the information given about them, this is one of the remote one. So when we see that B.G. Tilak, we know that Home Rule movement, or we know that Maratha, or we know the Kesari, or we know that New English School. But we never know about the B.G. Tilak, what they have mentioned here, requested the Bombay mill owners to supply dhotis at a moderate rates. So this is something, different information. And so suppose if I make my own notes and write down some or jot down somewhere about this, so then that gives, and then suppose to find out such type of the information is also many times painstaking. And instead of using a lot of time to just retrieve the data, instead of that, suppose you are getting this type of the ready-made data, and it's not like that this question will be repeated. But when I'm collecting or the understanding this type of data, it will help me to So whenever I read Lokman Tilak, I will help that kid know, so that Bombay Mill owners, he has asked about that. And so that type of a thing correlating. So I call this as an interdisciplinary approach. So the correlating this information while solving papers or understanding the whole, system of the exam or the ecosystem. So that should be considered in a positive manner. Then militant nationalism, farmers and labor movement. So which of the pair they are given the wrong one. So Dastas, then Siaram Dal, then Parshuram Dal, and the Hindustan Socialist Republican Army, and they are asked the wrong. So now what is this? This question, if you see, we remember that Chandrasekhar Azad, then Bhagat Singh. So Chandrasekhar Azad was from the Lucknow. And so we understand that he's from the Lucknow, and then Lucknow is in Uttar Pradesh capital city. So that will be correct. But HSRA, it was established in Punjab. And then that is the wrong one. And then we don't know other Dastas. What is the Bangkok Tapu? So that is again one of the area. So where this is Bangkok Tapu, somewhere around that Jharkhand area. Then Siaram Dal, it was in Bihar. Parshuram Dal was in Orissa. And then HSRA, this is a militant organization which was established in Punjab, but it was working in Uttar Pradesh also. But now, why it is wrong? Because in other things, so Dasta, Siaram Dal, Parshuram Dal, so those particular militant organizations were established over there. So this pair is related with what? Establishment, and not with the area of the operation. So this is a very minor, difference. And so from this we get the idea that this type of the questions are also asked. So, and then about this Siaram Dal, Parshuram Dal also, instead of again retrieving some data from here and there, you get the ready-made material over here. Then freedom movement, especially, see, this our national freedom movement is of only those four major freedom movements. Swadeshi of 1905, non-cooperation of 1920, disobedience of 1930, quit India of 1942. So last three, they were led by Mahatma Gandhi. And Swadeshi, it was anti-partition movement. And in Maharashtra, it was led by Tilak. And in Bengal, it was led by the many, this one, Bal, Pal, we call that. Na? So Bipin Chandra Pal. So one of the leader over there. And there were the other leaders also in Kolkata. And then question related to this is, who from the following women inspired the womanhood to fight the non-violent war of independence? Now the word they have used the war. So they are given the Kamala Devi, Hamsaben Mehta, Ratanben Mehta, Ramabai Kamdar, and Lakshmibai Gardev. And now the answer given by the MPSC is A, B, C, D. And then they are excluded D, excluded E. Now, what is the common between these Kamala Devi? So the Kamala Devi Chattopadhyay. Then Hamsaben Mehta, she was from Mumbai only. And she was appointed as a member of Indian Constitution Assembly. And when she was a member of Constitution Assembly, she was nominated by India to UNHRD, United Nations Human Resource, that Human Rights Declaration, that the wife of President Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt, she was very, very aggressive after the Second World War was over. She was asking that her husband has said that after the end of the Second World War, so world will be free from fear, free from hunger, and at the same time everybody will get the equality and then the freedom. So now that should be the basis of the human rights in the world. And so that is why that one committee was established, and Eleanor was part of it, and in that Hamsaben Mehta has participated. And so that interaction has made a lot of impact on what? Because see, this UNHRD, that was on 1948, no? So that declaration, and our constitution was adopted in 1949. So same thing in assembly that was discussed, and so that preamble, then second part, third part, and then the reservation part. So all that has been very nicely taken in consideration, especially for the upliftment or the empowerment of the underprivileged in our society. And then Hamsaben Mehta, she had made a very important role during that period. Kamaladevi Chattopadhyay, also she was a member of what we call as a Constituent Assembly, but at the same time she has participated in civil disobedience movement, Quit India movement. Ratanben Mehta, Quit India movement. Then Ramibai Kamdar, again Quit India movement. And then Lakshmi Bai Garde, I tried to find out the information about that. So she was from Pune, and she was very, very much interested what we call as a women's education. So remaining four are what? Freedom fighters. You can't call them as a war, but they were non-violent war. So that is nothing but the freedom movement. And then Garde, she was devoted herself more related to women's empowerment and women's education. And so that is why here the answer is 3 only. Then Muslim League and other parties, Communist Party of India, then Congress Socialist Party, then Justice Party, so many other parties were there. And the independence and the Sanyukta Maharashtra. So on this, if you see, there were almost 3 questions. So this is called as beside the freedom movement. So who gave the speech at the conference of Aboriginals at Zari in Umbergaon Taluka on 23rd May 1945 and asked them to end the practice of forced labor? तर आता तुमच्यापैकी बऱ्याच जणांना माहिती असेल की हे जे होते काय ते गोदावरी परुळेकर, तर त्यांचा नवरा म्हणजे शामराव परुळेकर. आणि त्या गोदाताई परुळेकर आणि शामराव परुळेकर, तर यांनी आपला जो वसईचा भाग आहे ना, वसई पालघर या परिसरातले जे आदिवासी आहेत, तर त्यांचं शोषण ब्रिटिश अधिकारी करायचे, म्हणजे सावकार तर करायचेच, आणि त्यानंतर ते फॉरेस्ट खात्याचे आणि पोलीस खात्याचे अधिकारी सुद्धा शोषण करायचे. आणि मग अशा वेळेला आता सध्या ते कार्य विवेक पंडित करतात आपल्या त्या पालघर, वसई किंवा ठाणे जिल्ह्याच्या भागामध्ये. तर थोडक्यात हे कम्युनिस्ट पार्टीनं ठाणे जिल्ह्याच्या, त्या काळात ठाणे जिल्हा एकच होता, त्या ठाणे जिल्ह्याच्या परिसरात सुरू केलेलं, आणि हे 1945 म्हणजे दॅट वॉज ड्युरिंग दॅट क्विट इंडिया मुवमेंट ऑफ द सेकंड वर्ल्ड वॉर. सो कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी ह्या काही ह्याच्यात चलेजाव चळवळीत नव्हती. त्यांचं महत्वाचं योगदान काय होतं, टू ब्रिंग द रूल ऑफ प्रोलेटर आहे, म्हणजे काय, कामगारांचं राज्य आणायचं. आणि त्याच्यामुळे ते सगळ्या कामगारांना एकत्र करायचे, आणि ते साम्यवादी पक्षाचे नेते होते, आणि ते शामराव परुळेकरनी हे भाषण केलं होतं. नाउ व्हॉट इज द सोर्स ऑफ दिस क्वेश्चन? So again, this question is from the what we call as this 11th standard. So earlier that one question Pliny was from the 12th standard, and this is 11th standard Maharashtra textbook. So our source has to be that, and that to be again not the new one, so which was earlier. So because 11th standard new Maharashtra textbook, not all that you will get. So we'll try to provide that PDF to you, and so read that much only, more than enough. So then next they have given again the same thing. These are the Marathwada Mukti Mandal. So जी चळवळ झाली आपल्याकडं, तर हैदराबाद स्टेट काँग्रेस with their work and places of the work. So Govindbhai Shroff, Aurangabad. Then M. Chandra Rao, Hyderabad. The Melkote, he was from Latur and that other area. And then Digambar of Bindu, he was from that what you can call as the Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh part. Now they are asked the question related to that. So Govindarao Shinde, so in charge of struggle in Marathwada, because he was stationed at Aurangabad. आणि औरंगाबाद शहरातील सरस्वती भुवन नावाची जी काही शैक्षणिक संकुल, म्हणजे जसं रयत शिक्षण संस्था आहे, तसं ही सरस्वती भुवन ही एक महत्वाची आणि एक प्रोग्रेसिव्ह एज्युकेशन सिस्टम इन्स्टिट्यूट इन औरंगाबाद अजून सुद्धा त्याचं कार्य चांगलं चाललेलं आहे. सो गोविंदभाई श्रॉफ 3 नंबर. मग आता जनरली काय असं करायचं माहिती आहे, अशा प्रश्नांची उत्तरं काढताना मला एका प्रश्नाचं उत्तर माहिती असेल ना, खाली जायचं. मग आता हे 3 मला माहिती असलं तर मग खाली गेल्यानंतर माझ्याकडे काय झालं, 3 आणि 4च बरोबर येणार. मग आता 3 आणि 4 येणार म्हणजे 2चं उत्तर म्हणजे बीचं निघालं, रामचंद्र राव. And Ramchandra was from the Andhra Pradesh, so he was stationed at Hyderabad, and from there he was Andhra Chada. आता ही भानगड काय आहे बघा, हैदराबाद संस्थानामध्ये अनेक भाषिक लोक राहायचे, म्हणजे आपला मराठवाडा सगळा 1956 पर्यंत हैदराबाद प्रांतातच होता, म्हणजे संस्थानात होता, निजामाचा हैदराबाद. त्याच्यानंतर ते बेळ्ळारी आणि बराच भाग कर्नाटकाचा कोणामध्ये होता, आंध्रमध्येच. आंध्र म्हणजे त्या कोणामध्ये होता, त्या हैदराबाद संस्थानामध्ये होता, हैदराबाद संस्थान, हैदराबाद प्रिन्सली स्टेट. त्याच्यानंतर जर तुम्ही बघितला तर आता ज्याला आपण पूर्वी तो विदर्भ आणि म्हणजे सेंट्रल प्रॉव्हिन्स नावाचा भाग होता, त्यातला काही थोडा भाग परत त्या ह्याच्यामध्ये होता, पुण्यामध्ये आंध्रामध्ये होता, ओडिशाचा काही भाग आंध्रामध्ये होता. आणि मग त्या सगळ्यांनी हैदराबाद प्रांतामध्ये आपल्या आपल्या भाषेसाठी, म्हणजे हैदराबाद प्रांत जो होता त्याच्यात हे 3 भाषिक किंवा 4 भाषिक म्हणतात महत्वाचे. पहिले म्हणजे मराठवाड्यातले मराठा, त्यानंतर बिदर, गुलबर्गा आणि बेळारी हा भागातले कानडी लोक, त्याच्यानंतर आता ज्याला आपण तेलंगणा म्हणतो त्यातली तेलगू लोक, आणखी बाकीच्या काही भागातले हैदराबाद शहरामध्ये सगळी ती निजामाची असल्यामुळं उर्दू होती. तर ते उर्दू, मराठी आणि ज्याला आपण काय म्हणायचं तेलगू आणि कानडी, तर ह्या सगळ्यांनी काय केलं त्या हैदराबाद संस्थानामध्ये. आता शेवटी 48 ला हैदराबाद संस्थान भारतात आलं आणि त्याच्यानंतर त्या हैदराबाद संस्थानामध्ये भाषिक पुनर्रचनेची राज्य व्हावं म्हणून चळवळ सुरू झाली. आणि त्याच्यातच मग 1953 ला तेलगू भाषिकांचं आंध्र प्रदेश वेगळं झालं आणि मग बाकीचा जो होता तो मराठवाडा महाराष्ट्राला जोडला गेला. मग सांगितलेलं गुलबर्गा, बिदर ही तालुके, जिल्हे आणि नंतर बेळारीचा काही भाग कर्नाटकाला जोडला गेला. आणि असं करून ते चळवळ ती यशस्वी ठरली. आणि सो हैदराबाद स्टेट काँग्रेसच्या ह्याच्याबद्दले हे नेते जे आहेत तर ते अशा पद्धतीनं. आणि जर तुम्ही बघायला गेला तर हे डी जे आहे दिगंबर बिंदू, सो हेड ऑफ ऍक्शन कमिटी. आता इथं देताना इथं प्रिंटिंग मिस्टेक झाली, ती एक पाहिजे होते. सो डी इज 1. सो अशा काही जोड्या जुळवलेल्या आहेत. त्याच्यानंतर पुढे जर बघितलं तुम्ही तर हे आता मयूरभंज, कोल्हापूर, रामपूर, भोपाळ. आता हे काय आहे तर तुम्हाला माहिती असेल भारत 15 ऑगस्ट 1947 ला ज्या वेळेला स्वतंत्र झाला त्याच्या अगोदर 3 जूनचा प्लॅन होता. लॉर्ड माउंटबॅटननी काय केलं होतं की त्या काळात ते लॉर्ड विन्स्टन चर्चिल जो होता ना तो खूप भारत द्वेष करायचा. सो ही वॉज हेटिंग इंडियन्स लाईक एनिथिंग अँड सो ही डिड नॉट वॉन्टेड टू गिव्ह द इंडिपेंडन्स टू इंडिया. But somehow Clement Attlee, then Prime Minister of Labour Party, who had come to the power by defeating Churchill, even though Churchill has contributed a lot for the winning England or the US or the Russia in the Second World War, he was very instrumental in that. But somehow people did not like his arrogance and other thing, and so he was defeated. Clement Attlee came back to the power in England, and he wanted to leave India and wanted to give the freedom. So he appointed Lord Mountbatten as the last Governor General of India, and he has given that one single point agenda to Lord Mountbatten that you should try to strike a deal between these, Muslim League and then Congress and other stakeholders in independence of India, and there should be the smooth transition of the power. And but again, during that period, there was a lot of violence between. That direct action day was rather you can say very brutally implemented by those Muslim, you can't call them extremists, but then they had a lot of brutal approach was there. And then it was decided have that 3rd June plan. And then in that provision was 2 dominions, Pakistan and India, and there were almost 575 princely states. So out of that, only 11 joined Pakistan and 564 joined India. So out of that 564, 3 were troublesome: Hyderabad, Junagadh, and Jammu Kashmir. And important thing was that Jammu Kashmir, majority Muslims, ruler was Hindu. Hyderabad, majority Hindus, but ruler was Muslim. And the Junagadh, same thing. And so that somehow Shastriji and that Patel, Sardar Patel ji, he handled the situation very nicely. And then by the end of 15th August, almost out of that 561, they signed a treaty of accession. And so same thing has been asked. So out of that 564 princely states, Mayurbhanj is from Orissa, Kolhapur, Shahu Maharaj, then Rampur from Uttar Pradesh, and Bhopal from the central province, that part. So they're asking that question. So Kolhapur very well, So what will that be? Kolhapur merged with Bombay province. कारण मुंबई कसं झालं की ज्या वेळेला भारताला स्वातंत्र्य मिळालं त्यावेळेला संपूर्ण भारतात 11 प्रॉव्हिन्सेस होते. दे वर कॉल्ड द 11 प्रॉव्हिन्सेस अँड देर वेर ऑलमोस्ट 575 प्रिन्सली स्टेट्स. तर ब्रिटिशांचं राज्य 11 प्रांत आणि 575 संस्थानिकांच्या वरती होतं. आता स्वातंत्र्य मिळाल्यानंतर काय झालं की ते 9 प्रांतापैकी यू कॅन से फुल 2 प्रांत कुणाकडे गेले? पाकिस्तानला. आणि उरलेले 2 प्रांत काय झाले की बंगाल आणि पंजाब अर्धा अर्धा, आणि मग 7 पूर्ण कुणाला मिळाले? भारताला. तर भारतात एकूण 7.5 म्हणजे म्हणता येईल आपल्याला अर्धा अर्धा ते 2 म्हणजे असे 9, आणि मग ते 9 प्रांत आणि हे 575 ही त्यापैकी आलेली 564. तर यांचं विलिनीकरण करून साधारण 1956ला भारतातली 14 घटक राज्य स्थापन होईपर्यंत आपल्याकडे काय होतं, त्या प्रांतांचे त्यापैकी ABCD असे वर्ग केले होते. सो ए गटातले प्रांत म्हणजे कुठले? ते सगळे पूर्वीचे मुंबई, त्यानंतर UP किंवा ते 15 प्रांत किंवा सेंट्रल प्रॉव्हिन्स असे ते सगळे होते. आणि त्याच्यानंतर बी गटात कोण आले? तर ते मोठी स्टेट्स, हैदराबाद आलं, मग त्याच्यात जम्मू काश्मीर, मग असे जे प्रांत. आणि त्यांनी काय केलं होतं, ते पंजाब भागामध्ये ना, पंजाब हिमाचल प्रदेशामध्ये जवळ 70 अशी छोटी छोटी संस्थान होती. त्या सगळ्यांना एकत्र आणलं आणि त्यांचं त्यांनी पेप्सू केलं. पेप्सू म्हणजे पंजाब अँड ईस्ट प्रॉव्हिन्शियल स्टेट्स, आणि त्यांचे ऑर्गनायझेशन केले. आणि आपल्याकडं जर तुम्ही बघायला गेला, राजपुताना म्हणजेच राजस्थान जे आहे, तिथे जवळजवळ 150 संस्थानं होती. त्या सगळ्यांना संस्थानांना एकत्र केलं आणि राजस्थान त्याच्यातनं. तर असं करून ते काय करण्यात आलं होतं, ABCD असे गट केले. आणि ते गट जे आहेत ना, प्रांताची वर्गवारी ही कधीपर्यंत चालू होती? 1956ला 7वी घटना दुरुस्ती झाली, आणि मग त्यातनं त्या ह्या 4च्या ऐवजी 2च गट राहिले. मग एक काय म्हणायचं त्याला राज्य, दुसऱ्याला काय म्हणायचं केंद्रशासित प्रदेश, असा तो प्रकार होता. आणि मग इथं तो त्याच्याबद्दल विचारले. सो कोल्हापूर वी नो दॅट मर्ज्ड विथ बॉम्बे प्रॉव्हिन्स. सो बी ला 2. मग असं किती ठिकाणी बी ला 2 आले? तर 1 and 2 मध्ये. मग आता 1 and 2 मध्ये बाकी काही कॉमन नाहीच आहे, फक्त तेवढं बीच कॉमन आहे. मग त्याच्यामुळे मयूरभंज, आय टोल्ड यू इट इज फ्रॉम ओरिसा ना. सो बिकॉज ओरिसातलं असल्यामुळे ओरिसा प्रांतात ते झालं. त्याच्यानंतर रामपूर, आय टोल्ड यू उत्तर प्रदेश, सो त्यामुळं सी ला 4 आलं. आणि मग डी भोपाळ, सेंट्रल ऍडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. मग अशा पद्धतीनं वी शुड बी अवेअर अबाउट व्हॉट वी कॉल ॲज अ हिस्ट्री. तर तुमच्या लक्षात येईल की आता हे जे काही 15 पॉईंट बघितले आपण, मग आता आपलं काय ठरलंय, 40 दिवसामध्ये आपल्याला 100 पॉईंटचा अभ्यास करायचा. मग आता 100 पॉईंटच्या 40 दिवसात अभ्यास करायचा झाला तर रोज किती? 4 पॉईंट येणार. हिस्ट्री किती पॉईंटचे? 15चे. मग ते 4 दिवस मला मिळणार त्याच्यात. सो ॲट एनी कॉस्ट आय हॅव टू सी दॅट आय स्टडी हिस्ट्री इन 4 days. आणि मग 4 days मध्ये माझे टॉपिक कुठले? तर इथं सुरुवातीला सांगितल्याप्रमाणे. आणि बहुतांशी या सगळ्या टॉपिकवरती प्रश्न आलेत. आता काही टॉपिकवरती प्रश्न नाही आले, पण जवळजवळ सगळ्या, म्हणजे हे 4 महत्वाचे टॉपिक आहेत. मग त्याच्यामध्ये प्रत्येकातले आपण काय केले? मिडल हिस्ट्रीमध्ये 3 केले, बाकीचे याच्यात 4 केले. मग आता याचा अर्थ काय झाला की हिस्ट्री ऑफ इंडिया, एन्शियंट इंडिया 4 टॉपिक ही मला एका दिवसात संपवायची. But then what should be material and how should? So what is our plan? So every day we'll be sending you at least say around about 20, minimum 20, maximum 50 questions on each topic. So then you have to solve that and then give us the feedback, whatever. So you can solve that first on your own without seeing the book, whatever you have read until now, on that basis. And then afterwards try to find out the answers related to that from the sources also, and then we can have a discussion. And if you don't get the material, we'll also provide the material, and if you don't get the sufficient material, again those things will be provided. So strategy is going to like this. So minimum 20, maximum 50 questions on each of these topic every day. So the every day you'll get the question on how many topics? 4 topics, because in 40 days we have to finish all those 50. So today itself I am sending for these 4 topics. This you got it now. So we are having those 100 topics. So every day, no, it will come the two topics it will come, because in 40, so that we are going to the mark wise, and here we are talking about the question wise. So because each question will have the 2 mark, no? So instead of 4, so we'll be doing 2 topics every day. So today we'll be sending you the questions on what topic? Ancient Indian. Correct. So the history of ancient India and the history of medieval India. So here I told you how many questions? 20 to 40. And so what are the topics you should study in the ancient India? So these are the important 10 topics you should study from the ancient India. These are the 10 topics we should study from the medieval India, and that much only you study, so it's more than enough. And then what you have to read, what not you have to read. So that also will take care. So just remember the basic 11th till standard, either NCERT or Maharashtra textbook, whatever you are comfortable, read those books. Whatever the extra information to find out these answers, especially for the prelims is considered, it is our responsibility, and we will be sending you the PDFs and PPTs. So PDF will be related to mostly to the questions. PPT will be related to the information, and many times if you require the PDF also, we can send you. Sometimes we can send you the link also, but we have to stick up to this timetable. So this is very, very important. And from this, you will get the idea. Now, what you will get the idea, okay, at least in that coming 40 days, we'll be able to get the overlook at least. And so then what is and this is related to the, see, the data and the information, is plenty of the data information available. There's many times what you can call the explosion. There is a lot of confusion. So just to avoid that, we should have the systematic approach toward the available data with respect to the utility and the productivity in that 2nd January examination. So there I have to solve almost 90 questions I have to mark on the OMR set. And then out of that 90, at least my 70 questions should come correct. So the correct accuracy level has to be up to that. And then, as I told you, we need how many marks? 250. So my target from the general studies 1 will be what? Another 130 or the 140 maximum. The similarly from that 130, and so accordingly we can go ahead. And so you can modify the plan with your own suitability also. So we'll be sending one PDF. So this PDF I'll be sending you today only. So this gives you about what? All those 100 points. So you can take the printout and then you can write it down. So today is what? 6th October. So the 6th October, I'm going to finish 2 topics. So what is that? 1st and 2. 7th, I will be finishing another 2 topics. That is 3 and 4. So likewise, you have to go. So these topics have been given here. So the first 2 topics are the Indus Valley and the Vedic culture. So these are the 4 important topics, but the subtopics, that 100-point subtopics, Indus Valley and prehistory, Vedic culture, Buddhism, Jainism. So these are the 2 topics for the today's discussion, or the today's question papers will be on these 2 topics, and we'll be sending it. So we try to find out the answers. Now here you have to keep in the mind, one question, 36, no, 36, that for finding that your answer, and we'll be sending you the answer sheet also. You should download that whatever the model answer sheet we give you. So you just take the printout of that answer sheet and then mark that, and then what is correct, what is wrong. And when you are doing that, so you have to use the 10 parameters. What are the 10 parameters? Why my answers were correct? So study, elimination, previous knowledge, or logical reasoning, or intuition. So these are the 5 sources with which I'll be able to find out the answer. And then 5 reasons why I'll be go wrong, are not studied. And then you have to keep your record. So if you do that, it will help you. And once we finish this, so at the end we'll be having the subject test. So there's 15 topics. So yeah, so then after 15 topics, history will complete. So weekly we'll have a subject test. So this week you can consider, after those 15 PPTs of those PDFs of those question papers you get. So our 16th will be related to what? Subject test on the history. So similarly, geography will have that way. Then there will be the subject test. Now that subject test we have designed, there will be the 100 questions. And then you have to solve in 2 hours. So that will be as per the pattern of General Studies paper 1. So the 200 questions, this 100 questions on history. So that subject test will be there. So we'll send you the separate link and other things. So accordingly, we'll be having this type of exercise, and that type of the planning has been designed. So this is related. See, this what I just want to bring to your notice. So out of these 15 topics, in 2022, Indus Valley, there was not question. So the 1 topic. Then this thing, Satwan, Wakadas, so that 4th topic. Then Bhakti and Savanna, 3rd topic. Anglo-British Wars, 4th topic. then education, fifth topic. Then okay. So these were the out of 15. How many topics there were not question? 5 topics, but the 5 questions were on those remaining 10 topics also. Now it's not necessary because in 2022 there were not questions on what these 5 topics I should not study. Not because in earlier those 8 exams the questions had come, and so that is how we have to go. And if you remember that earlier, so when we had those main exam orientation lectures, in that I used to give you one of the Arushikesh, you remember that, no? I used to give that
Yes, sir.
one PPT,
Exercises.
yeah, exercise,
Yes.
and there I
Yes,
used
sir.
to tell you that ki you do that at least and the classification.
Questions. Yes,
Question.
sir. Yes, sir.
So now here we'll be doing that, giving to you. So your thing is that you have to try to, without reading, try to find out the answer. If you
Okay.
are able to try to find out the answer at least of the 50% questions, more than enough. And the remaining why I was wrong and what I should do, so you can do your analysis, and then we are there to provide you the material and everything with respect to each topic. So then second topic is history, sorry, this geography. And in geography then there are the 9 subtopics. So our, see, this first 15 topics or the points are related to history. So that way you can consider 50 topics of history, 1 5. Then 15 topics of what? Geography. So the first topic in geography is what? Solar system, earth and latitude, longitude, time. And there was one question on that. So they are given the, if the time in India is 12 noon, what would be the time simultaneously at a Greenwich, Meridian and International Dateline respectively. So you know that we are how much? 5.5 hours ahead of London. So now it is at 12 noon now. So what will be in this thing? So 5.5 hours, ahead in that international dateline, and the behind in that London. So because London is a 0 meridian and international dateline is 180 this thing latitude, 180 degree latitude. And so this is question related to the answer given is 1. So then 17 is the earthquake. There's some more questions on the world geography. Yeah? So earthquake, volcanoes, geographical features, rivers and projects in the world. And there were almost 2 questions on that. So the one is related to ocean floors are divided into the following major divisions. Select the correct. And now we all are staying near Mumbai. So then you might be knowing. So in Mumbai, it will, so that continental shelf, continental region, hills, deep sea plain, the continental slope, you will get this simple diagram of the ocean floor in each standard book. So from this you can get the, even the MPSC or the UPSC saying that you have to degree knowledge, but the question is from the 8th standard only. So then 8th standard book, suppose you issue that map, and in that map they are given demarcated properly, so that visual impact. So this question you will be able to solve on the basis of what? Previous knowledge, what you have studied in 8th, 9th, 10th standard, likewise. And then of course you are now revising that or the reading those geography books. Again, here we have to remember, as far as geography, 11, 12th are okay, but at the same time you have to go for the 8, 9, 10th. So 8th standard Maharashtra textbook is very good for the world geography. 9th is for the geography of Maharashtra. 10th is for the geography of India. And so with these 3 books information, you have to supplement that with the 11th and 12th standard. And with the help of that, it is possible you will be able to get the answer of not less than 10 questions which are being asked on geography. And the remaining other books are there. So subsequently, we'll be sending you the PDF, PPTs, or that certain material related to the geography also. Now, there's one number question, so that related to, they ask you the select the correct option with respect to the ocean floor divisions. And these divisions start from the land area to the distant sea. And then important thing is that oceanic depths is going to be the last one. And so then my answer will be either E 2, 3, 4. And then we know that first is continental shelf. Girgaon Chowpatty, whatever, that's when you go for the immersion of this Ganpati idol. So that particular part, whatever you are able to see is nothing but the continental shelf. So it starts from that. So my answer will be either 2 or 3. So then depending upon that, what are the correct and other things, so I can get the answer, and then my answer is going to be 2. So then river bank and the city. So these are then very common questions which have been asked. So Paris is on which river? Everybody knows. What is the name of the river of the Paris? That is Seine rivers or the Seine it is. So the A is 4. And then if A is 4, the B is going to be 2. So Geneva on which river? Rhone. The Bonn is on which river? Rhine. And the Kyiv, that is the Ukraine's capital city, it is on the Nepal. So again, from this you can get, so map reading and the knowing the world geography is important. Then this is again related to the climate, winds, ocean, currents. So Chinook winds. Remember, this is very familiar wind with not only with the MPSC but also UPSC. In last say 18 exams, these Chinook winds have been repeated either as a what you call the interrogative sentence or as a one of the alternative every alternate examination. So at the 10 in the 10 exams, that I mean 100 questions, you will found at least 10 times the name of the Chinook wind. So Chinook winds where you get and related to that, and these winds climb Alps mountain from its south side. That is wrong because they from the north south, and these winds blow in Rhine River. So it's a wrong only. Rhine River is in where? Europe. And this is where? It's America. So from this itself, see, suppose if you read this question here, so Rhine. So Rhine is on, this is a Bonn, we saw that. Na? So Bonn is nothing but earlier it was the capital city of the East Germany. So now the capital city is Berlin. But see, up to 1990, 1990 पर्यंत जर्मनीचे दोन भाग होते, पूर्व जर्मनी आणि पश्चिम जर्मनी. पश्चिम जर्मनीची बर्लिन होती आणि पूर्वची बॉन होती. उलट झालं ते, पश्चिमची बॉन होती, पूर्वची बर्लिन होती. नंतर त्यांच्यात एक भिंत होती. 1990 ला ती भिंत तोडली गेली and the unification of Germany. And since then, Germany has been considered one of the leading country as far as the economic development is considered. Or it is called as at present economic giant of what? Europe. So Europe मधली सगळ्यात प्रबळ अर्थव्यवस्था सध्या त्यांची आहे. And that is because of that one lady, Angela Merkel. So, and then now she is not, she has retired, and so some other leader has become the chancellor of Germany. So this is again, you can correlate with the current events that way. Then next is related to the this I was telling about that climate, winds and ocean currents. So winds blowing from the subtropical high pressure to the pressure belt toward the equatorial low pressure are known as, so they are called as the trade winds. Same thing related to the world population. So this is world, see these first topics. So from 15, 16, 17, 18, these three you can say were related to what? Physical geography of the world. Then social geography. So what type of a question on the social geography they are asked? It is related to the population, languages, race, location, boundaries. Now Bolding, Dalton, Peterson, Carl Saunders. So they are the name of the scientists. Okay. And then they have put forward what the theory, optimum population. Also, what is the optimum population? तर तुमच्या देशात जेवढी साधन संपत्ती, so whatever the natural resources are present in your country, so they should be the sufficient for to satisfy all the requirements of the needs of that population. So that is called as what? Optimum population. So in India, population was never optimum. So now this explosion. And so if you see the city of Mumbai, in South Bombay, 1 square kilometer, 26,000 people are staying. So 1 square kilometer, 26,000. And so that is considered one of the highest population density. So in this case, only simply on the load, that weighing load, if you see that one person weighs, and in Mumbai, you know, everybody is very healthy. And so overweight also, so suppose if we consider average also 80 kg, 26,000 into 80. So huge number, that is the weight on the soil itself. So that way, and then everybody is breathing, and then carbon dioxide coming out. Then, you know, that in case of the COVID pandemic, we have seen that. So that, you know, infectious diseases and other thing. So related to that, the optimum population. So the concept was put forward. So the Bolding said that optimum population is nothing but the population where maximum standards of living can be made available with the available resources. So maximum standard of living with the help of available water. Now what is happening in America, US, what is the population? 32 crores. 32 crores. But the size of America or the economy of America, see now our economy is what? $3 trillion. America's economy $25 trillion. So their economy is 8 times bigger than our country. But their population is how much? 4 times less than us. So at one end, 4 times less, then 8 times more. So you do that geometrical this thing calculations, and you will find that each person in America is having 32 times amenities more than average Indian. So suppose in our country, I am able to get 1 rupee. The person of my caliber in America, he will get how much? 32 rupees. So that type of the thing. So if you do the comparison, so that is how the idea of that optimum population, you should be able to find it out. As for case in a Dalton, he said that maximum income per head. So optimum population. So whatever the natural resources you are having, with that help, you should be able to achieve what? Maximum. So the country which has the highest per income, per capita income at present is Brunei. So Brunei is one of the country in that is part and parcel of Malaysia, and no, not a part and parcel, but adjacent to the Malaria, and their income, per capita income, is more than 10 lakh rupees. So and then here, our annual income is not that much. So if anybody is having income more than say 4.5 lakhs in our country, he or she has to pay the tax, and that is not the case there. So our annual income is hardly 1 lakh 0.25 thousand, something like that. But it is a 10 times than our Indian one. So just remember this type of the things. Then Peterson's definition, Carl Saunders definition, all that. The next is evolution and geomorphology of the Indian subcontinent. So especially related to rock types. So because of the volcanoes, especially Deccan Plateau, so 27 times there was the eruption of the volcano. And each time that volcano was, cooled down, and again, and so that is why how you travel from this Khopoli to Lonavala, you will see that layers in those mountains. So these are the almost 27 layers. And so that is because of the volcano. And every time, so this happened not only in 1 or 2 years, it took lakhs of the years. And so the rocks and then soil, it was, so rock is a parent material for the soil formation. And here you can get that Champion series, Chilpi series, Rialo series, Iron Ore series. And where you get that Singhbhum, Mayurbhanj Singhbhum, that is from the Odisha. So while reading these, names of the places, you should be able to identify where is that particular part on the world map, either our map of Maharashtra or map of India. So while studying geography, we should be able to do the visualization. Delhi, Alwar is in Rajasthan, Kolar is Karnataka, Rajpur, Kolar, Karnataka, Balaghat, Jabalpur, they are again in Madhya Pradesh. So from this, even with from this particular of the thing, you will be able to understand. And then how to use your common sense also. Suppose I don't know anything else, but with the common sense. So what are they written here? So Champion series, Chilpi series, Rialo series, and Iron Ore series. So from this, I don't know what is Champi, Chilpi, Rialo. But Iron Ore series, I know that. So that is a ore you are getting, and you use it for the making the steel. Then I go to this area, the Singhbhum, Delhi, Kolar, Balaghat. So what I will get that. So where is the iron factory or the steel factory near? So whether that Singhbhum, Bonai means Orissa, Rajasthan, or Karnataka, or Madhya Pradesh. So we are, everybody is aware that because 8-9 standard, this particular thing has been learned. And so we know that the iron factory is where presently in that Orissa. So that is Singhbhum, Bonai. So Iron Ore series means what? This rock from this particular series is very rich in what? Iron. And so whatever ore they're taking it from that area, it is used in that Bhilai, steel plant. So Bhilai steel plant gets that ore from iron ore from where? Singhbhum. And so I got that Singhbhum and Bonai. So that Singhbhum itself is from the Odisha, and then a steel plant is in Bhilai, that is in Odisha. So definitely D will be what? Singhbhum. So so D1. So at how many places D1? Two places. So from that I get a C what? 2. So Rialo series is with what? They're given Rialo series with Delhi and Alwar. So now remaining is the Kolar and this, now the Champion series and the Chilpi series. So out of that, how to correlate Champion series with what, and then Chilpi series with what? Now see this Champion, the difference between Champion and Chilpi series. So Chilpi, that word is used in Jabalpur area a lot. And then Champion is a Karnataka this thing. So the answer is going to be 1 itself. So likewise, you can find the answers related to this. So then evolution, this is little rock system. Then Kadapa rock system. So last year there were the 2 questions on what? Rock system. So from this I get the idea that I have to study the rock system with respect not only to world geography, but with the India, and at the same time the Maharashtra also. And then on and off they are asking the question on that. And so likewise, suppose if you go to this geographical regions, Himalayas, mountains, plains, and other things, there are another 2 questions on that. So which situation is responsible for the monsoon winds in India? So these are from this you can get that. So these are the very familiar questions. And we have to read that only. So you don't have to go find out some remote information, then only you will be answer. It is might be few questions, but with a general approach you are able to solve more than 50% questions correctly. Then related to the rivers again, Indus, Tapi, Narmada, Kaveri, and then they are given the details of where they rise and how they meet. So that rise from semi-arid highlands of Chhattisgarh, rises in Tibet near Lake Mansarovar, and then we know that Tibet and Mansarovar, it comes to Indus, or what do you call the Sindhu Nadi. So the A is 2. So A is 2, they are given in 3 and 4. So from that, again, only that much is common. So you have to find the alternatives correctly. So you can study that also. Indian culture, that agriculture. So related to this also, majority of coal fields. So here again, the minerals and energy, no question. So coal fields found in India to the east of 78 degree longitude. But the state of Orissa, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, we know that B is 100% correct. And then I told you if you see what map. So that 82 and a half. So that passes through the Allahabad, and then that is considered India's what? Meridian, or that IST. So Indian local time or the standard time is based on the that 82 and a half. So that is what? East longitude. And so this will be again 78 means more towards westwards than to meridian. And so that is why it, of course, that might be correct again. So the answer is 1. Then rock, soil, crops, vegetations. So it was related to the Maharashtra. So you have seen that the questions are on the rocks in where? India. Now from that rock you get soil. So instead of asking rock from the Maharashtra, they are asking soil. So from which rock you get a which soil. So related to that, so regular soil contains aluminum, iron in sufficient level. Laterite soil is found in moist climate. Red soil is found in Bandara district. Then red soil contains less amount of the organic matter. So all are correct. So this is again good information. And then social geography of Maharashtra. So here social geography of Maharashtra, they asked the 2 questions. One is what? Sequence of Tehsil. So this is a political geography. So Tehsil from north to south. So here you should know what? map.
at
And
every
correct,
taluka.
talukas also. So there are 354 talukas at present in Maharashtra. And so knowing all of them, or at least, so this is a question related to what Nandurbar. So why Nandurbar? It is a border districts with Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. And because of that, so at least knowing talukas of the border districts, from this you get that idea, no? So then when I'm studying this geography, or that geography of Maharashtra, when I'm looking, so I'll see that now they will, instead of what Nandurbar, they will ask Kolhapur, no? So find the right sequence of Tahsil from north to south in Kolhapur district. And so Kolhapur is having common border with whom? Karnataka and Goa. So you should know that, no? What are the Karnataka, what are the talukas? And then you might be knowing that Shirol is one of the taluka of Kolhapur district, which is always perennially underwater during monsoon season. So this year also almost 1 week. So there was a flood. So Shirol is there. Then you get the Hatkanangla, so which is having a border with Karnataka, that is Belgaum district. Then you had a Kagal. So we are talking from the north to south. So the Shiro, then Hatkanangla, then Kagal, then you go to the Gadinglas is also that. Then there is a Chandgad. So these are the talukas, 5 talukas from north to south, where Kolhapur is having its border with Karnataka. So likewise, Sangli is having. Then start with this Gadchiroli. So then even Nanded is having border with Telangana. Then Nanded is the only state having border with Telangana and Karnataka. So then Latur, Karnataka. Then Solapur, Karnataka. Usmanabad having Karnataka. So those talukas in that. So you can develop that type of the habit. So when you see that Palghar taluka or the Palghar district, so it is having border with whom? Gujarat. Gujarat. So that is with the other state. And with Nasik also, Nasik district is adjacent to it, but we are talking about what? States, border states. So because Nandurbar is related with that only, no? And so the answer is related to the Dhargaon, Taloda, and Nandurbar. So from north to south. Then there are the question related to this density of population and sex as per the sex ratio as per the 2011. And now here they have given the density and the sex ratio, and then they are given the districts Thane, Nasik, Nanded. Usually match the column is only with one. So now here they added one more. So this type of the multiple columns are then, and with respect to that, the answer is going to be the T3, that B and C. Then agriculture and vegetation minerals of Maharashtra. So what happened in Maharashtra due to the fragmentation of agriculture land? Now what is this? This is what called as a economic geography with respect to the agriculture. Now you have to remember that this type of the questions they are asking where mains exam, and that too in agriculture part, paper 4. So this is of that level question, and then it's a very what you can do, you have to do the analysis. Then Maharashtra. So this is a second topic. Now in second topic there are how many questions? How many topics? 15. And then here again you will find that the 16 topic question is there. Earthquake there is a question. Atmosphere is question. World population is question. So correct. So the only this world economy they are not asked, but all other topics have been question has been there. Then evolution of, that is physical geography of India. Then economic geography also India. Now so there was a no question on the social geography of India. So economic geography of world was not considered. Social geography of India is not considered. So in case of India again, see this economic geography. Then Sayadri, so physical geography of Maharashtra not have questions, but they have gone for the, again this rock and soil is also considered as a physical geography. Then this social geography, and then economic geography. So from this we get the idea. So here in history, out of 15, 4 topics were not considered for the asking the question. And here, this 2021 exam, 3 topics were, they have not asked the question on that. So as far as the today's discussion is considered, we'll stop over here. We'll continue with this in our tomorrow's discussion. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, but suppose I get the time, we'll have a tomorrow also. But I'll be sending you the PPTs. And then this you will get, and this lecture will be uploaded, and this PPT you will get in our repository. But we'll be sending you the question paper of this what I told you, the first 2 topics. and each question will be a minimum 20, maximum 30 questions on these first two topics. So these are the 100 topics. From this you can get the first 5 pages of this PPT, and this is a PDF. So that gives you the 100 topics.
100 topics.
So these are the first 15. So 1 to 15 history, and then 16 to 30 geography, then 31 to 45 that is related to the polity, then economy 46 to 60, then 61 to 85 that is related 61 to 66, so that is related to ecology environment. And then it is general science, and the lastly is current events. So likewise, in coming 40 days, we are sending at least say around about 2, or because we have to finish in 40. So it might be like that. We'll be sending say 1 day 3 or 4. But to begin with, so today for the 6th October, how many papers you're going to get? 2. So by tonight, you will get those papers, and then you can solve it tomorrow morning, and then try to study on that particular topic. In the tomorrow also, you'll get the 2 more question papers. So likewise, you'll be getting it. And once we finish those 15 in 1 week, so we'll be having the subject test. So the only thing is that you have to be very, very serious, and very serious in a sense, sincere in whatever we want from you guys. Rishikesh, Niket, you want to ask any question, any query?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. So I'll be sending those 2 papers. So please try to solve them. I'll be sending the answer sheet also, and just do that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Okay. So तुला काय विचारायचं आहे?
Sir, paper